Ba-da-da, bum-ba-da-bum, bum-ba-ba-da-da-bum-bum-bum-ba-da-bum. Hey everybody, welcome to bonus content.
That was almost how the song's supposed to go.
Yeah, I didn't know where that went.
That was just like my
You
head.
had it for like 2 bars, and then you were like, "Time to improv."
Yeah, it was an improv exercise. You know, I gotta keep you on your toes. I can't get complacent 400 in.
Hey man, it's a really good attempt at a save there, but it's all right. Just accept.
All right, I fucked up. All right, I'll own that.
We know.
I appreciate you guys trying to be supportive. I'm a fuck up. I'll own that. That's good. Hey everybody, welcome to bonus content. It's me. I'm Alex. I'm here guiding you through a bonusy way. Nobish, Scott, and Tony are all here. We're all here. We're here for the bonus content before episode 400. I want you guys before. Well, I mean like the episode proper, right?
So the bonus episode for episode 400.
Yeah, this is the bonus 30-minute episode of bonus content before episode 400 of Irrational Passions podcast. You're right, Nobish. It really doesn't make sense. Before we get started, I want to take you guys through. We are started, but I want to take you guys through this moment I had this week.
Watching a man eat salmon.
No, that we'll never speak of again. I'm gonna basically when I tell people about that, Tony, I'm gonna tell them that you tied me down and made me watch a man eat salmon.
You were in a room by yourself, completely, with consent, sitting there.
I did give consent, but I regretted it immediately.
Really, before I ask you to do anything,
yeah,
do anything with you, I should be like, "Hey, do I have your consent?"
Here's the thing. You showed me the music video, which was cool beforehand, and then it just crescendos into this horrible salmon nightmare.
To be fair, the only original plan was the music video.
Yeah, it just kind of happens. It just sort of happened. The salmon was just sort of in my mouth. It was a bad video for everyone.
Whoa, how'd it go from in the video to in your mouth?
I got a long story.
You know what? I don't want to know the answer to that.
That's right. That's the correct response. This week, it's just descriptive of my current emotional state. I'm like one of the lowest lows I've ever been in my personal life ever. Just full disclosure,
Been there.
Nabish, I know you feel me. I heard that. Shout out to depression. Shout out. Finally, someone who gets my Easy Allies references. Shout out to depression. I watched Game Grumps for the first time in like 7 months this week. And it was so much like hanging out with a friend that you haven't seen in a while that I just started crying watching it. And I was just overwhelmed with emotion in a way because I've just not watched. I just have been putting it off and whatever of not watching Game Grumps forever. I just booted up their Super Mario Party playthrough, which is very good if you were curious, and I just started weeping, but that was like a very good cathartic moment for me. It was a good build up into this, and then next week Extra Life. It was good, just kind of get a little bit of those bad jams out. I just want to share that with you guys. How are you doing, Nobishin? It's been a few weeks since you've been on the podcast.
A few weeks.
What's life like, man? Catch us up. Catch us and the audience up.
I don't want to get too deep into it, because it's just been a weird feeling for me.
Mm-hmm.
It's weirdly like the worst I've ever felt in the weirdest way, and it's like not necessarily bad. Like there's like no death in my family or something like that, but like I don't know, like a lot of things just caught up with me in like the last few weeks, and like over like the last like month or so, I just been just very hermity and just closed up in my room, and like I've always been that, obviously, but like even more so than usual. And so like I like a few weeks ago, I even like reached out because like everybody knows that I deactivated my Twitter. But I kept re-upping it every once in a while just to just to check up, see like, oh, what's Trevor up to, just to see that, because I can just not like on Instagram at all that really, but I just want to see like lately what he's up to or something like that. But like I just like tweeted out something like, "Hey, I'm feeling really low. Probably the worst I've ever felt, and like if you could just say some kind things, that'd be really great." And I did get some responses, and like from very special people, and I do appreciate that a lot. But yeah, I don't know. I've been it's been like a lot of work woes, really. Like my job is probably like the most profitable it's ever been, as far as like me putting my effort into it. But like a lot of it's been taking away from me, me being me, and me being the kind of person I am, and it's like I had to sacrifice so much of myself to like have it be at like top efficiency, and the sacrifices wasn't worth what I was giving into it. But it's like one of those things where it's like I can't really just leave this. At least unless I get something better.
Mm-hmm.
Fortunately, I just got something better recently, so I can leave it. But like it's just like financially and like ethically, I can't leave it because like, hey, I'll finally actually get insurance for fucking once, that type of thing.
Yeah.
So but now I'm in a place now, and now stuff is happening now that like I can actually leave the thing that's been like really been bringing me down for like the last almost as I started, because I never wanted it,
Mm-hmm.
but it was something I just like kind of like accepted because it's like I guess I'll do it because like not only because like people quote unquote guilted me into it, but it's more of like just whatever.
If
Anyway,
I don't, then who will? Type thing.
Yeah, so it's just I'm better now.
That's
for the
good.
most part. I'm on vacation.
You're on vacay. Is it PTO, paid time off?
Yeah, I've actually have like probably like over 100 hours of just time off I can have.
Hell yeah.
And so I have to find a way to kind of cash it out before I leave, and like just actually use it for vacation time. So
you're like, hey, I'm gonna take 100 of my next hours.
I'm gonna take 2.5 weeks off,
this
and
is
then
my notice. When that time is up, I'm done.
I mean, the funny thing, I'm like exactly there, Nabashin. Like I'm the same exact place. Only I haven't necessarily found anything better yet, so that's kind of where I'm at. Right. But like I have a lot of rewarding things going on. Outside of that, it's just sometimes life gets you down. What are you gonna do? Yeah. But yeah, like I don't leave my house, and my job is maybe killing me a little bit. But I also just like yesterday got paid the biggest paycheck I've ever received as a human alive in this world. So it's like, how do I tip the scales here?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm still figuring that out. So I feel you, but I'm very glad that things are better. You've obviously we just love you so goddamn much. We just can't help it.
And like when I get this low, it's always at the point where it's like I always feel like I can't do this show anymore for whatever reason. I just get to this point where it's like I really just can't do this podcast anymore. Like it takes so much out of me. Well, I think that at the moment, like I'm feeling dumb, and I'm just like, there's too much to even be on here. It's too much to even talk to my friends, which is a dumb thing to even say.
Mm-hmm.
But like anytime I'm on here, I'm fine. Like it's like it doesn't matter just getting to the point of me actually being on here. That's like the whole part
it's you got to psych yourself into it, and you can psych yourself out of it so easily, right? I totally get it, because like every time, like last week, I had like a super shitty day and I wasn't feeling well, and then the three, Scott, Tony, and I, we all recorded, and I like felt great afterwards. Like, I think it's Scott just keep talking about all these fucking roguelikes. It just pumps me up, just builds me right up. You miss all the Wizard of Legend talk, Nabashin.
Oh, I heard it. Like I said, like I watched every show that I haven't been on.
That's good. You're caught up.
I watched it live. I just don't say anything.
Yeah, because if you said something, you'd have better titles.
I need to preface this by asking Scott a very important question.
Okay.
Scott, have you heard of Deltarune yet?
Ooh, yeah, it's a good question.
Yeah, I have read our group chat.
But have you looked into like what it is?
Have you experienced?
I have opened up the website and I was like, I don't want to do this right now.
I'm surprised about that, but okay.
That's okay. I mean, like, we'll talk about it later. I've not finished quote unquote
Same.
Deltarune.
Yeah, no, I'm like maybe an hour.
Yeah, I'm maybe about 35 minutes in. It's funny, like 400th episode, like collectively one of our favorite games of all time. Gets this cool follow up, and we'll talk about it later. I don't want to necessarily take anything away from each of our experiences, but I definitely have some stuff to say about it. But yeah, I think I heard about it like right when it dropped, and then Nabashin, you texted everyone saying, all right, everyone's doing this, right? And then Tony is like, oh, I didn't hear about this until here, and I guess, yeah, Scott, you were in the same spot, so.
Yeah, I still don't know what it is.
Okay. I feel like we can at least say what it is once we get into the actual show, and I don't know how much it'll ruin it, but that was a cool thing that happened.
Like you say, it was a follow up to something, and I don't know what it's a follow up to.
Okay. But I feel you, Nabashin. It's good. I mean, hey, it's good to have you on the show and just talk to you.
Can I take a wild guess?
Yeah, dude, hit it.
Frog fractions.
No.
All right, good guess though.
That was a really good guess. It's Frog Fractions 3. We found it. Dude, what if it turned out to be that, though? No. Do you want me to tell you?
Yeah, but you said you wanted to wait till the show.
Well, let's wait till the actual pod, because it's a video game.
Okay.
Spoilers, it's a video game.
Turns out.
Turns out, it's a Deltarune video game. I had, after I started it, because I didn't know how long it was going to be, I was like, all right, I got to set aside time for this. And I was like Googling in a very careful way to like, how do I find out how long this is without finding out anything else about this? Which was difficult, I'll say. I'm glad I played about 30 minutes before I ended up pulling up a webpage that told me it's like 2 to 3 hours. Spoilers. Anyway, Tony, how about you? How's your week been?
It's actually been decent, I guess. It's been a pretty, I don't know. I honestly, it's kind of been a boring week.
Mm-hmm. Boring isn't always bad, though.
No, it's all right.
Is it as boring as Red Dead 2? Got him!
I wouldn't know.
Okay, fair enough. That was just that less indicative of my experience and more of like just the internet. I was just trying to make cool internet jokes, guys.
Yeah,
I mean, don't worry.
You got to keep up with the kids these days.
But I mean, it doesn't work because you don't think so.
Yeah, I know. At least not yet. Hey, who knows? Tony, have you ever like gotten a paycheck and you're like, I'm gonna spend a gross amount of money on video games?
Nope.
I did that yesterday. Let me tell you about the Smash Pass.
I have gotten the paycheck and I was like, I'm gonna spend a gross amount on League of Legends.
That's the same thing.
No, that's not video games. That's a bad decision.
At least you're aware.
Because I don't even buy like the skins. I buy like the orbs that have skin shards in them. So it's basically fucking loot box.
Christ, Tony.
Like you could just buy a skin, or you could buy a loot box that might have a cool skin in it. And I'm like,
You're like, I'll take the chance.
I'll take the chance of getting trash.
I like to live my life on the edge, on the wild side. I mean, that's good. I bought Super Smash Bros. Ultimate yesterday and the Smash Pass, which is exclusively what I'm referring to the season pass of that game for from now on, because I don't know why they didn't call it the Smash Pass. Nabashin, do you have an explanation? Smash Pass, Smash or Pass, it's right there.
Yes, that's the reason.
I know. What do they call it? The Fighters Pass?
Yes.
Fighters Bundle? Something dumb. Not as good. And I bought Dragon Quest XI yesterday.
Cool.
Because after everything I've heard at this point, I really want to play that game. And I was listening to the Easy Allies podcast, and Kyle Boston was just like, didn't do good enough. I'm like, I gotta do something. That was a genuine thought that went through my head. So I had to support them. What about you, Scott? Do you have a boring week?
Relatively. I know at the same time.
Okay.
So this past week, my great-grandmother passed away.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Sorry, not my great-grandmother, my grandmother.
Okay.
It's kind of that and kind of not at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, we kind of knew for a while. that it was very, very, very close.
Yeah.
So you had a very, very long time to come to terms with it for some other reasons as well
Yeah.
that I won't get into right now.
Yeah, I gotcha. I guess that is good that you had time in that
Would you
regard.
mind me asking how long she lived? As far as like age, I'm sorry.
Hey, you don't ask a
79?
woman's age, Nabash.
79 years.
79 years.
Nice.
And as far as how much time we quote unquote knew, I would say she survived an extra 2 years longer than expected.
Okay.
Good. Fighter.
Yeah, that is good. Well, I'm sorry for your loss, Scott. I hope it
So
wasn't-
yeah, I found that out on the 28th when the day she died, and then we had our funeral already,
Mhm.
which was on Friday.
Okay. Busy week in a way, yeah. How are you doing?
I'm doing good.
Okay. Good. I have nothing to follow that up. Thank you, Scott. You have
Yeah, neither do I. As far as the other portions of my week, the funeral was nice.
Mhm. That's good.
Yeah, I kind of just gonna leave it at that.
Okay. That's
Mhm.
fine. I've never been to a funeral, so I guess
Oh, really?
I'm lucky to say so.
Been to several.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know if that's like a good thing. Well, it's not, but yeah, I've never dealt with I've never confronted death in the face, so yeah,
You
it's
ever
just
confronted your own mortality?
I've never confronted my own. Well, I've confronted that, but that's in a far more intimate way.
Yeah, I got it.
Yeah, it's just telling that it's probably whenever that situation does present itself for the first time, it's not going to go well for me. Yeah, I've been to 2 weddings and 0 funerals.
I mean, well, it depends
Mhm.
because I'd say the worst part about it would be not going to the funeral
Yeah,
because, like, let's be honest here, funerals are for those who are grieving,
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
so they help,
yeah.
not exacerbate.
That's good. I'm very lucky to say I've had one way. We are touching on the full emotional spectrum in this bonus content. I want you all to know. Well, I'm glad you're doing okay, Scott. I extend that to your family as well. I hope they're doing okay. But we don't have to dwell on it. Did you guys play? Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, other than that, pretty boring week. I had to go into work today instead of working from home because I missed Friday.
Gotcha. What is it? Does your work, is it like a round the clock 24/7 business going even the weekends?
Yes and no.
Mm-hmm.
We operate on Saturday and the morning of Sunday.
Okay.
Sorry. The morning 12 a.m. on Monday.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
So it closes up Saturday 5 p.m. opens back up Monday 12 a.m.
Wow. What do you
So
do at
it's
12
not-
a.m. on Monday?
That is the night crew. Most deliveries for places will end up getting there somewhere, especially in the beginning of the week, on like a Tuesday in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
So stores have time to restock. They have to kind of be shipped out during the dark hours.
Okay. Makes sense. Everybody needs fish.
Basically,
I don't need
the time between, I want to say 5 and 12 or 11 p.m. Generally, nobody's working anywhere.
Yeah.
That is also why we don't send much out.
It's just Taco Bell
Man.
doing God's work. 12 to 2, man. Bless them. All right. Okay. I had a transition and I decided against it. I was gonna ask. I guess we got some good questions for it, so I'll just leave it to them.
Okay.
Let's. Do you guys want to just fucking talk about video games?
Sure.
All right.
Mhm.
Let's get this wild party started. Thanks everybody for who's watching live. We appreciate you guys. It's about to get buck wild. Not really. It's going to be a normal show, but if you have questions and you'd like to be a part of the show, I don't typically say this in that the transition to when we start recording, but you can tweet them at IrrationalPod, hashtag IPQ, or you can tweet them at me. I'll find them either way. It's not a huge deal. Just the hashtag does make it easier for me to find. You guys got your audacities ready?
Yeah.
It's ready.
Let me actually make sure I'm recording from the right device. Cool. Make sure I'm recording. Do you remember how to do this, Nobishin? You too rusty?
Yeah, okay.
I'm just teasing you. All right. Tony, do you remember how to do this?
No. I was like, should I just say some stupid shit or no?
All right. On one. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'll be honest with you guys. I spent 4 hours editing podcasts on Thursday night. I could never edit a podcast again and I'd be happy, but I'm going to keep doing it. I put out I was like I just hunkered down. I was like, I got to catch up. I'm not doing this. I can't do this to myself anymore cuz every time like I have a free hour, I just feel guilty that I'm not editing the podcast, but I'm like I just have an hour or an hour and a half. So like when I got home from work at 6, I was like, I have an hour and a half before the show and I don't have to feel guilty about anything. It tells you where I've been at with my life. But I put out that episode.
Maybe it's that bad week maybe not editing the podcast was the culprit of your bad week.
I think so. I think there is definitely a weight off my shoulders now. And I for the episode the week that we took off, I inserted our little bonus episode. I don't know if you saw that got published.
Yeah, I did.
Which a lot of people really liked. Which I appreciated. Thanks everyone that tuned into our Final Fantasy VII bonus episode. It was fun. That was like really. I listened back to that. Obviously, when I edited it, that was a really good conversation. I feel bad because I feel like I dominated that conversation a little too much.
No, that's fine.
It gave me kind of a forum to gush with someone I knew would kind of also feel what I was feeling about it. But yeah, that was a lot of fun. It'd be fun to do more of one-offs like that.
Just find other games one of us has never played before and just talk about it.
Yeah.
Let me get some LaCroix. I'll be back.
Oh, yeah. Stop the shit. Stop the presses. Tony, I know we're live and this is probably not the best time. Is there any update on next week?
Still not coming.
Okay. Do you think you'll be able to make it for any of it or no?
Unlikely.
Okay. Did you want to come Friday for the podcast?
If I can be there at some point, I will, but I almost certainly won't be there.
Okay. I hope everything's all right.
Yeah, we're good.
All right. We're here for you. Well, I'm here for you. I can't speak to these other two chuckle fucks. I'll be sure to go in the bathroom and take a bunch of dick pics and send them to you. I know that's what you want anyway, so.
Yeah.
Exactly. Scott, I know I don't know if you've ever checked your email, but you should. It's got all the information you need about Extra Life in it. But if not, I can send it to you as well. Do you have another email address at all, Scott?
Not one that I check more frequently, no.
I just didn't know if you had like a more professional written named email or not.
Dude, what do you mean? What's not professional about his email address?
Oh, yeah. Yes, I do.
Okay. I
don't have anything quote unquote professional to use it for
mm-hmm.
because they generally just give me other emails that I don't check off.
That's fair. Ain't nothing about wakeboarding that is unprofessional. You're right, Tony.
That's what I'm saying, dude.
Forgive
Almost one of the
me.
most professional things you can do.
Oh, man. It reminds me, my first email is it's my first, second, and third email, actually. They're all very bad. At least 2 of them don't exist anymore. My first one was a Hotmail, though, and I still use it for my quote-unquote Microsoft account. Oh, boy. That was a bad scene. I also, just not trying to brag here, I had the bet and everything ready. I thought of it on my second break at lunch today. Or at work today, I should say. I had the doc set up, although I think we're probably just going to do mostly games and questions. I took some time. Again, all that time that I saved from being caught up on editing the podcast. I got new headphones now, Mission.
Oh, what kind? The Sony kinds that you wanted?
I didn't end up getting the Sony ones. Ended up saving $100, and I got a new pair of Astros.
Stay on brand.
Stay on brand, true. And I really like them. Obviously, they don't have like magic levels of noise canceling, but that's okay. They have a microphone, and the Sony ones didn't. So if I got those, I wouldn't be able to use them for like PSN chat or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And these are really cozy. I've broken them in now, and they're very cozy. You guys ready?
Mm-hmm.
Let's do this. Congrats also to the 3 of you. We made it to 400. I think that's pretty cool. Not a lot of podcasts get to do that. And I can't think of 3 better people to do it with.
I don't know of a podcast that has done this.
I know a few, but they're more like professional podcasts.
Yeah, not a lot of the cash podcasts. Dudes. Obviously, like Giant Bombcast, they're on 500 plus, I guess, now.
Mm-hmm. Just past 500.
And did Indus make it past 400? I feel like they got to like the 390s.
I think they passed 400. I think they did.
I want to say that they did. That sounds right. Yeah. Their last episode was 407. No, 417. Which was published October 30th. That's right. They've made a comeback now. So
Yeah, I heard.
yeah, not a lot of them out there though. All right. Let's do this. It is Saturday, November 3rd, 2018, and you are listening to the Irrational Passions Podcast, episode 400. I'm your host, Alex O'Neill, and joining me this week, as always, we have Scott Guthier, Tony Horvath,
Hi.
and Brian Nobishin Jackson.
Scott, I love you. You may not believe this, but I love you. Am I just supposed to turn my back and leave? Am I supposed to be a man? Am I supposed to stand here and just say, it's okay, I don't mind. I don't mind. Well, I'm mine. I'm mine big time. And you know what the worst part is? I never learned to read. That's it.
I know that's it. I know it's over. It's just I'm still laughing. What the fuck is that from?
Wings, bro.
Okay. That was really good. It's been a minute since like a nice elaborate specific Nobishin intro. Congrats guys. We did it. We made it. We can finally die now. Congratulations. We made it to 400 episodes. I want to ask. We've hit this milestone, episode 400. I think we're in season 3. I don't actually remember where we left off in the overarching narrative. Season 4, maybe, who knows? Do you guys, and we don't necessarily have to pull numbers out of our asses, but is there an episode that stands out as like a personal favorite? It could be a big one, could be a small one, could be a moment. I know I didn't preface. I didn't give you guys homework. I didn't let you think about this ahead of time. I just want to know off the cuff. Is there a big favorite for you guys? Scott, do you have one?
I'm gonna be honest. I missed the entire question.
That moment right there.
This is it. We're living it. Episode 400. It's my favorite. Every new week, new challenges.
Yeah, no, I'll give you some context.
Yeah.
I'm just seeing this big blank spot past 3 a.m. for Extra Life events,
Oh yeah.
and I'm just wondering, how long is Detroit Become Human?
That is just all right. We have a schedule. I'm glad that you checked your email, Scott. We have a temporary schedule that we are currently building for Extra Life, which is next week, which we'll get to in a second. That is just it's a stand-in. It is not set in stone quite yet.
Yeah, that was just the reason why I missed the question.
Yeah, that's fine. Do you have like a favorite episode or moment in the 400 that we have now done? Yay, nay. If you want me. A lot stand out. Yeah, I know. It's hard to pick from the crowd.
Well, that's the thing.
I mean, you're giving Nabishin and Tony more time to think, so.
I already know mine.
Okay.
I already know Tony.
We have very
Do you?
good moments.
Yeah.
Like very, very good moments.
Yeah. But we don't have very
couple
good
of
episodes.
Every couple of episodes.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, like
So because there are so many, the good moments kind of don't stand out.
yeah, I think so. We've had a lot of fun here. 8 years worth of episodes is a lot, so. Tony, what's yours?
I want Nawisha to tell me what mine is.
The same episode, the same answer you gave for episode 300, I think it was. It was when Best be out Spelunky.
Wait, which one?
When Best be out Spelunky.
No, that's not.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, that is a really good moment,
It's a
actually.
deep pull, but
That's a good one.
not it.
What is it then, Tony?
It is the first time we all recorded together in female Alex's basement.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say was mine, episode 100.
I thought that was either 1 or 200.
Yeah, that was really good because it was the four of us and Joe and Evan and Troll and Plank actually were there too.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a whole thing, and it was like us sitting at the table, and it was like the first time we hung out with Nabishin, and it wasn't like horrible. So we were just so giddy, and we took all those dumb pictures together, which are still fucking so good. And yeah, that was the one I was gonna say. So I'm a big fan of that. What about you, Nabishin?
Hold on. To come back to me,
Yeah.
there is a good recurring bit
Yeah.
that we kind of let go recently, but is kind of fantastic.
Which is
It's like Lee.
Remember when Evan and I recorded alone?
yeah.
What episode number was that?
It's episode 7, I believe.
Right.
But we
For
thought
the
it was episode
longest time,
4 for a
We
while.
thought it was episode 4. We thought it was episode 3. Sometimes we thought it was episode 2.
Yeah, it was one of the ones. It was bad though. Whichever one it was.
Whatever which one it was. It was bad, and
Yeah.
we never had the right episode.
Yeah.
Not until recently.
Yeah. It might have even been episode 8. I might be wrong. I don't know. It's honestly because sometimes I'll go back and I'll listen
We're
to.
afraid to go back to check.
Yeah, I'll listen to old episodes. Like, I just I don't have my voice doesn't sound the same. I don't have the same kind of like. I don't carry it as well. So it's hard for me to go back. What were you gonna say, Nabishin? I'm sorry.
I mean, this is probably just one of the Game of the Years. It's like Game of the Years is like one of my favorite things with you guys. So.
Yeah, it's fun. We haven't done Game of the Year all together again for a while. We should maybe try and make that happen this year if we can. Yeah, Game of the Year is fun. What was it? It was 2016 where we did it all, the four of us together in person. And it was just the four of us. I think it was the first year that we had like set it as like it's just us four. And that was really good. That wasn't the year that Fez beat Spelunky, which is a good pull.
It might have been 15. that one because that was Witcher and Undertale that year.
Yeah,
we were all there in that room for that.
Yeah. But it's so good.
That year was 2017 or no 2012, I think.
Yeah, that was a rough one. Boy, it's so weird because like when you think about the history of this show, we started like one of the first news stories we ever talked about on the show was like PlayStation Plus had just been announced in 2010, and it's so crazy. Like when you think about like the entire Wii U happened in this show, or we have been doing stuff since before PS4 and Xbox One came out. Like we have like lived through all that, and now we have recorded more episodes in the PS4 Xbox One generation than we did in the PS3 360 generation. But that's kind of like where we started. Like there were still new Wii games coming out like when this podcast started. Which is kind of crazy to think about. Like we went from Wii to Switch to Wii U to Switch, PS3 to PS4, Xbox. Like all of the Vita happened. Rest in peace, pour one out for Shaboy, the Vita. In the span of this show, it's cool. Like we've been around and had conversations about a lot of different things in video games, and that's really cool. But my favorite episode is every episode because I get to talk to my 3 best friends.
I thought that was a pity clap at first.
I was waiting for the Tony reaction, whatever it was gonna be. But yeah, thank you just up front here to anyone and everyone that has tuned in to an episode of Irrational Passions podcast. This isn't the end. This isn't the last episode forever. I just we hit a big milestone. It's a big deal. We've been doing this for a while. We had, there have been hiatuses. There have been hosts that have come and gone. Thank you, Greg. Thank you, Joe. And thank you, Evan. The 3 hosts that are...
Don't forget Chris.
And Chris, who was a host in a way for some amount of time. Shout out to Chris's...
An honorary host.
An honorary host, exactly. Shout out to Chris's 1 review on IrrationalPassions.com. Yeah, thanks to everyone who's listened, everyone who's watched, everyone who's subscribed or left a review, every guest that has come and gone, all the dozens and dozens of amazing guests that we've had on, and we'll continue to have on. I just really appreciate it. Anyone that has taken the time to be a part of this history of this show, I really appreciate it. And we're going to keep doing our thing, keep making dumb jokes, talking about dragons and dragon quests and leagues of legends and horny.
Yeah, eventually I'm gonna take another 3-year break from League, but I'll come back.
Yeah, it's
another 5 years later.
In like the 600s, it's gonna be real big again. I promise.
Yeah. Like 100 episodes at a time.
Exactly. Who knows? Maybe I have a League of Legends binger in me still. Another 14-hour binge of League of Legends. We'll see. If I do, Tony's gonna be there just waiting. But yeah, I can't. This show has like changed my life in such a positive way. It has been a huge part of who I am as a person. Like I would not be the person I am without this show. The 3 of you guys, the 3 of our honorary hosts that are no longer regular hosts, but still matter to us a great deal, and to every guest and everyone that's been a part of it. I'm eternally grateful for that. Thank you 3 from the bottom of my heart, honestly. Now that that's out of the way, let's talk about fucking video games. Next week, we are going to be playing video games for 24 hours straight because it's the 9th year in a row. I guess we got to keep doing it at this point. And it's going to be live on twitch.tv/irrationalpassions. You can tune in there. You can go to irrationalpassions.com/extra life. Watch it on that page. You can also go to our Extra Life page, which I think it's extra-life.org/participant/irrationalpod, I believe is the link. That is not super good. So if you just go to irrationalpassions.com/extra life, it'll get you there. But they did a cool thing this year where you can embed your Twitch in the Extra Life page directly. So We've got guests coming in from all over the country and all walks of life, like Cameron Abbott, Trevor Starkey, Mario Piakwar. I'm not even going to try and say Mario's last name. I'm really excited for him to say it at me many times and me still not to be able to pronounce it. Brian Jackson from so many miles away. Troll and Plank are two wonderful producers. Logan Wilkinson, Mike Burgess. It's gonna be and more. Bear Courtney. It'll be an all-star lineup. Let's not say the 25 plus people that we had last year, but a slightly smaller but equally as fun show is the plan. We will hopefully have a schedule, some kind of tentative schedule up sometime this week. It's not a set in stone thing. We are going to definitely have to fill some gaps at some points, but we've got some fun segments planned. Nobishin bought a giant whiteboard. I don't know, you might not have watched Podcast Ultimate yet, Nobishin, but I did break it in on that for my
Oh, that's good.
my big theory. But that's the only time I've used it. I wanted to make sure it was kind of pure and ready for Extra Life. But we have a big whiteboard. We've got some ideas for some ways to use it, and we got some fun stuff planned. I'm really excited for Extra Life. It's a good time with good friends, even if it also happens to be very stressful. But yeah, if you have time, I would love it if you stop by, tuned in, donated. It's all going to Johns Hopkins Children's Center. And that is all part of the Children's Miracle Network, which you can find out more about on extralife.org, extra-life.org. Tune into that. It's going to be a great time. And if you're an audio listener of the podcast, you have it all now. Everything is accessible to you. All backdated correctly to the dates that they were supposed to go out. Apologies for all the delays. I put a bonus episode out where Namsh and I talked about him playing Final Fantasy VII. And that's all up there. IrrationalPatch.com for everything else. You guys want to talk about video games? I mean, why not at this point? Mr. Brian Nobishin Jackson. What you been playing, man? You got weeks to catch up on. I want to know what's been in your disk drive, your digital downloads. What you been playing and losing yourself to?
Pretty much nothing, honestly.
Nice.
I mean, there's a few things I played, like
A lot of Dragon Quest XI, I take.
that was like weeks ago.
It's been weeks, Nobishin.
I mean, because like I haven't played that in a few weeks. That's because I just haven't had time for video games really. As of late, that's been working. But I want to get back to that. I want to get back to Valkyria, which I still need to get to as well. I got Red Dead and I played about maybe 5 hours of it. I love it, but I just just haven't had time for it as of late.
Exactly.
I'm on vacation
for
now.
me, so yeah.
Yeah, I'm on my vacation now, so I'm planning to put time in those 3 games a lot. But like I guess like the only thing I could really say I've played is like mostly just Red Dead, honestly.
Okay.
That and the Spider-Man DLC, I guess you could say.
Okay. So they put out a patch for Spider-Man that resolved the issue that you had with it.
For the most part.
Part.
Maybe like 90% of it.
Okay. Did you still see some of it in that DLC?
Yeah, I posted about it. It just happens. Pretty much if I play the game too much, it just happens. Every once in a while it just freezes a little bit. So I was like,
Is it the freezing or is it the animation stuff?
It freezes mid animation.
Okay.
So it's not like the fugly face that you saw before, but
Got it.
they'll just freeze and you'll see the background stuff move at the same time. So like they're not like stick figure puppets like they were before in my videos. They're like they just stay like the characters stay in frame and stay still, but like the background still like flickers and stuff like that, and the cutscene still tries to go on even though everyone's frozen. So it's weird.
Mm-hmm. Do you think we're gonna get critically panned by our lovely fans for not having God of War or Spider-Man in our top 10 list at the end of the year?
Oh, I've already been thinking about that, dude. That's like, not to say like we're like the fucking
like contrarians or anything like that. We're very much not that, but
Yeah, it's gonna
I
be
think
another weird year for us. I will say.
Mhm.
has it just been Nobishin playing Spider-Man 4?
I played Spider-Man as well. I finished it, so I liked it a lot. I had a great time with it. I'm really curious to hear what you think of it, Scott, when you eventually get to it. But
I think you'll dig it, Scott.
yeah,
But
I think you would
Because
too.
I think writing Spider-Man completely out of the top 10 might not happen.
Yeah,
I don't think it'll be top 5. I
Yeah.
don't think it'll be completely out of the top 10.
yeah, that's fair. I think Spider-Man edges weight. Like God of War is the big one where like I don't see Scott, you or Tony playing that game. I'd be really curious, Tony, what you think of God of War, though. Honestly, but I don't think it left a lasting impression on either of us. So, like, I barely thought about that game since I played it, honestly. And most people have that pegged for number one, if not Red Dead. So,
like I saw like a post about like what's everyone's game of the year, and like there's only like really three that people are actually like really thinking about and talking about, and this is Red Dead and Spider-Man and God of War. So like 2 out of the three is like not really like didn't really do it that much for me for
And,
one
like-
reason or another. Is like I said with Spider-Man, like I'm in a very unique position and I fully realize that. That's why I don't really put my opinion for that game out there.
yeah,
So it's just that like I played the DLC and like it's more of that game, and like it's because I'm so negative on that game now. So like it was really negative for me, but like everyone seemed to love it. So I was like, okay. So that's why I didn't say anything about it. So
yeah. I mean, like, keep in mind though, your opinion on that game does really matter here on this show, and obviously for our podcast game of the year. So,
oh yeah, when we get to that point, sure, I'll the gloves are off. But like
hell yeah, dude. Take
right
'em
now,
off.
right now, like nah, I don't really need to speak on it.
Yeah, I don't know. But like I like Red Dead a lot so far of the very little I've played. But I also don't see that necessarily being our number one by any means.
Oh no.
But like I'm at a point where like on my personal list, right? Like Hollow Knight is number one, which is like not. I try not to do like the game that didn't technically come out this year for whatever, but like on a personal list, it's fair game. I've not played anything that left as much of an impression on me as that game did. I haven't played Life is Strange 2 yet, in all fairness, which I do need to do. But it's just a weird year.
It really is.
Not a bad year,
No.
but a weird year.
It just took a while just for it to kick in. Really, I feel.
Yeah, I mean, at least we can lock in.
Another game that was on that post I saw was on Detroit. A lot of people talked about Detroit. And I was actually surprised by that, which is like a
Hell
game
yeah.
that I actually really enjoyed this year. So
Yeah. That could be good. Let's lock it in early. I know Scott's a huge fan of David Cage, so we can really get that on our number one spot. So like a little peek behind the curtain here. We're gonna be doing our Game of the Year awards, right? The podcast, but the editorial team is also going to be doing a separate Game of the Year awards.
Would it be all written or a podcast?
It will be podcasts.
Oh man.
Which means, hey, if you want some Game of the Year content, you're fucking getting it this year. But like we had 3 months of meetings trying to figure out what it would be. We finally like narrowed down like what the format's going to be. It's going to be a little bit different than our podcast stuff because like we're trying to do something a little bit, I guess, more serious, quote unquote. Although we have serious conversations on ours, but I tell you, Detroit's probably not going to be on that list, which is a bummer. But that's a conversation I have no fucking idea which way it's going to go. So even more so than like our stuff, which is fun. Let's just put Destiny 2 Forsaken at number one with a bullet. Lock it in. At least we can lock in next year's Nabashin. Kingdom Hearts, just throw it at the top. DMC 5 at number 2, and then Jump Force at number 3. Just a tight top 3, How do you feel about the pacing of Red Dead Redemption 2?
I feel it's fine. I feel it's expected, honestly.
Yeah.
especially like if you played the first Red Dead, it's not really that much different. I feel, not in a bad way, because like it is different. Like it's more cumbersome, I would say that more than the first Red Dead. But like that's like I feel like going back to the first Red Dead, is like what I was saying earlier about like the whole turn section thing. By the way, side note, did Dead Space 2 have the turn section? You said you were
We talked about this. So you should watch the book club because we had a great conversation about this. There is I say on the part 2 of the 3-part Dead Space 2 book club series, which you can watch on youtube.com/irrationalpassions. Check it out. I'm like, hey, I was thinking like Dead Space 1 has a turret section. I was like, man, what is the turret section of this super 2011 video game? And we were talking about like turrets, like what the kind of conversation we had here of like, man, Resident Evil 5 has like this weird turret section, and Dead Space 1 has this weird turret section. Like, what's that? And then
I'm can I tell you how happy I created that?
It's so good, dude, because it's like so fucking true.
Yeah.
So there is a section, chapter 13 of Dead Space 2, or chapter 12, one of the two. So we talked about it in our last block of the book club. Is you're on a moving platform that is drilling through a wall, and you have to fight endless waves of enemies while it's doing that. I'm like, cool, we found the turret section of this game, because it is literally the exact fucking thing from Gears of War 2 and probably 2 other fucking video games from like right around that era.
Right.
God, this is it, huh? And it's so bad. It's like so, because I don't know if you remember this. You played Dead Space 2, right?
No, I never played a Dead Space game.
Okay. You should. I'd be very curious on your take of them, but it's because I didn't notice when I played it originally. But that section ends with like, oh no, we're coming up on EarthGov, which is like where you're drilling to. EarthGov, also really great name for like a fake corporation in the future. And it just it fades to black. It doesn't cut to back. It fades to black. And then Isaac like stands up in a totally new environment and the drill is like smashed. I'm like, whew, they ran out of money on this game, huh? And it's like, whoa, like EA games, like holy shit, man. Like this was happening. So it was like, we had like a great conversation about it.
Oh, that's good.
So yeah, Dead Space 2 has a turret section. It's bad. And then they ran out of money, and it explains a lot of the weird decisions at the end of that game. Yeah. Anyway, Red Dead's pacing. I am like, so I played about the first 5 hours. I got like, I think the last mission I did was the one where you drink with your buddy. Which I don't know. Did you do that one?
Drink with your buddy?
You get drunk. If you didn't get drunk, then
no.
Okay. But you know, because you can do a lot of those missions in any which order you want, so it was just one of them. I just picked one of them. But I'm like, wandering around the Valentine area, which I'm sure where you're at as well. Yeah, I don't know, like that. I was like really into it. I like slow pacing. It reminded me a lot of The Last of Us in a weird way. I talked about that last week. It's it's deliberate. It is. I think it is obviously very different, but like when you go through that house and you're like getting supplies out of it, and it's like very deliberately slow. It reminded me a lot of like looting stuff for the first time in The Last of Us, and like getting different things and the way the animation works and whatnot. Obviously, it is beyond that. Technology wise, it is more intricate and more detailed and whatnot. But it gave me those vibes, and I like that. So that I love the slow burn. It worked well for me. Is there anything that really stands out to you about Red Dead yet?
Like the most standout thing for me is really just Dutch in general.
Yes,
Dutch the character, like knowing who he is from like Red Dead 1, which you can see, like, because John talked about him constantly. He's like, oh yeah, Dutch, he taught me how to read, he raised me up when I was young. Wasn't the best role model for me, but like, like he was like the guy for me. And like seeing him in this game, like you can see how like so intoxicating and charismatic of a man that he is.
Yeah.
Even though like he's not a good man, and like he's even more not of a good man than like John or even Arthur. Like, and it's the way he does things, but like you can see that he's also like somewhat fair at the same time, where it's like, oh, you're getting like these bandits like killed your whole village or whatever, and like your farm. Sorry, he killed your husband. So like I'm going to take you in and bring you in. We're going to take care of you, type of thing. And like this whole group of people that he has with him, who are like good people. They're all just good people. It's just that they just happen to be with an outlaw.
Yeah,
and like it's just so weird. It's so weird in the good way. It makes me think of like how how different people are, and just like in one way or another, you see it in a different way. Like you're a good person, you're just with the wrong people in a way, type of thing.
It's like one of those, because like what you're kind of saying earlier, like you meet a woman who like her house was broken into, her husband was killed by this kind of like rival gang, and like they had her in her like nightgown, like locked in the basement. The rival gang did, and you rescue her. And it's like the difference between Dutch and his gang is that they see this kind of helpless woman and they would help her and say like, hey, I know like your house burned down by kind of an accident that we kind of caused.
Right.
But like we're going to help you, and you're clearly helpless. And you know, we'll get you back on your feet. We'll get you to civilization, see if you have any family, anybody that can take you in. And if not, we'll take you in. Versus this rival gang, which was keeping her like chained down in the basement, presumably to like sexually assault and whatnot. It is like they play his side up as kind of like the outlaw that has a heart of gold type thing. But then, you know, you also like brutally murder a bunch of people, rob a train, and you kind of like abandon these people, or he gives you the choice to abandon or kill these people, you know? So like there are two sides of it, right? He is ruthless and horrible, but you know, and that's kind of like, in a way, it's like this sexist kind of, but he would never treat a woman wrong. Like it's that kind of, he's chivalrous.
Yeah, exactly.
You listened to last week's episode, so you heard me kind of talk about like that's the way he talks and how it is manipulative, but you believe that he believes it. So it's like, dude, it is just, it gets in you, and I see how he gets in people, and like he is just written so well that just comes across so well, and it like also his performance is incredible. Like there's like this rasp to his voice that is like, because I've been playing it with headphones, and it's like, oh, like you can feel him like clinging into you, and it's like, man, I do understand like how this group of people gathered around this person.
Exactly.
And that's really cool. Like the fact of how immediately recognizable that is really cool. So yes, agree. Cool. Yeah, I have not played more than I really played last week, and more than you, so I don't know if I have much else to bring, but it's good. I'm sure you're playing on Xbox One X on a 4K TV. Me too.
Oh, yes. Yep.
Boy, oh boy. It's a good-looking video game. It's, you know, like, you're on another level when, like, the Digital Foundry breaks down, they're like, boy, this is some shit, y'all. It's like, yeah, these guys have literally seen it all, and they looked at this game and they said, fuck, like what they're doing here is incredible. And they have a great like 30+ minute breakdown of the graphics comparison stuff. Very interesting how that, like, on the performance level, like where the X and PS4 Pro and all that stuff is, where that all kind of shells out. So but yeah, my very good friend, my best friend Damien, he was the one that ruined the ending of Red Dead 1 for me, but he loves that game just so much, and he couldn't get it. He's getting ready to move out and move in with me. He's saving money and everything, so I'm like, cool, I'm gonna buy this for you. I just want you to play it. And he's just been texting me all day, because today was the first day he had off where he could just sit down and play it. It's just like, dude, the alligators. And he's like texting me about all this like really weird specific shit. So it's cool also to see someone who's a bit more casual, but loved the first one, loves Rockstar games, and kind of where he comes out of it. And he still has that thing. It's like, it's really, I mean, I'm a little worried about how slow it is, and like, genuine concerns of like he's not necessarily into that kind of thing, but as a fan of Rockstar and as a fan of Red Dead, he's still getting something out of it, and I think that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
So, anything else that you've been playing that you want to talk about?
Just a quick mention of Soul Calibur 6, which
Yeah,
I'm really enjoying.
I watched you play with the OK Beastie Boys,
Mm-hmm.
and I assume whooped their ass.
No.
Damn, somebody's got to put E in his place.
Well, to be fair, it was mostly Jared that I lost to.
Okay.
I think
There
it
you
was
go.
either Jared or Blessing. They're two black guys. I can't remember.
God damn it! If someone's just listening to this podcast for the first time, like they just got a whole just whirlwind of feelings. Yeah, I saw that Alex Van Aken cut out a great video on Twitter of Jarrett just whooping his ass, and that's great.
By the way, you didn't share me with that Alex Van Aken tweet of him with the Netflix journal.
You're right. I should have done that.
Like I just randomly saw that. I'm like, oh my god, why didn't you show me this?
I was so like in that moment of seeing that all of that. I couldn't think. What words could I come up with, honestly? How do you feel about we got so much to catch up on now. How do you feel about this Netflix Henry Cavill, your favorite actor in the world, portraying another one of your favorite male characters?
I mean, it's whatever.
Hey,
like I think Henry Cavill is a great actor. I actually do believe that.
Me too.
I think him portraying Superman is actually really good.
With good direction, I think he could do a really great job.
Oh yeah, like I said, the last 15 minutes of Justice League is really good. Other than that, though, I wasn't that much of a fan of it. But like it was never his acting chops that really like brought me down about it. It's just
The Party City wig, yeah.
But like with everybody else who was talking about that, it's like yeah, he doesn't have a beard, so that's just weird. And like I don't even think he has like cat eyes in that picture.
No, in that video, which so it's probably not like a final of that look anyway. So
you would hope so, but you know.
I mean that could be a thing they have to do in post. Is the cat eyes? I imagine wearing contacts like that for very long shoots could be painful, but we'll see. He's very good at portraying someone with little to no emotion. That was the thing I thought of.
That's actually really good.
Yeah. Got him. Cool. Do you want to talk about, and we can loop you into this, Tony, you want to talk about Deltarune?
Yeah, sure.
Just a little bit. So Toby Fox put out a new thing on Halloween.
Oh wait, that was Toby Fox?
Yeah, dog.
Yeah.
Honestly, I thought it was a fan project that like they had.
This is all above board. This is legit. Toby Fox certified video game. It is a new video game. We don't necessarily have to get that. A big part of like what we talked about on this show in 2015 about Undertale was, hey, you just like people can go back to the episode where Scott and Tony had played it and they were like, Nabish and Alex, you just got to go play this. Like, I don't give a shit when, where, how, you just got to go play this. And I don't want to necessarily say, I don't want to set the bar too high and say like Deltarune is exactly that. But it was one of those things where when he put it out, he's like, hey, I would really appreciate it if you didn't talk about the details of this for a full day at least, so that people can kind of get the chance to go out there and play it. And it has been a couple of days. The three of us have played it. Scott was just aware of it. It is, I don't, a sequel is the wrong word. It is not a sequel to Undertale. I think it is an RPG that has a lot of similarities to Undertale.
But it's definitely connected to that universe.
Yeah,
those characters.
It's connected to that universe. I don't know if they're the exact same characters. It definitely seems like it. I mean, like, if you know,
Does it not seem like a prequel to you?
No, because it takes place in the human world. It it could be a sequel, could be a prequel, could just be a thing like
because like there was like talks or like the way they were saying it, it seemed like could they mention certain characters and stuff like that. And it's like, oh, so I'm assuming this is a prequel because they're saying, oh, he's coming back from college or something like that. So that's what I just assumed.
To kind of lay out exactly what it is, Deltarune, it's currently a free video game that you can download from deltarune.com from Toby Fox and many of the other people who contributed to Undertale. It's free. It's on Windows and Mac only right now. I think there might be like a Linux version coming at some point soon as well. It's episodic, so the first episode is available for free right now. That's really all I know about the episodic aspect of it. I don't know how many episodes or how this is planned to be rolled out.
Yeah, I had no idea that was episodic, so that's actually good.
So this is kind of part one of that, which is a little bit of a spoiler, so I apologize because, it ends, but it doesn't necessarily end. It's not the ending. It's weird because, like, Toby Fox has to know that the bar is so high after that. And they definitely play with your expectation a lot. Like there are a lot of points in those first 15 minutes where I'm like, is this a horror game? Like this came out on Halloween and parts of it are a little unsettling and spooky. But I don't necessarily think it is. How far into it did you get, Tony?
I am okay. So like you get to the point where the guy is, let me tell you my story. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
And then the person's like, I'm just gonna fucking and then you walk outside and hit a save point. That's right.
Okay. I think I'm just a little bit further than that.
Same here. I'm probably 2 save points after that. Like I did like a little bit of their battle system for that game and like know how that plays. So yeah.
I'll say like so there's a moment. The first big moment for me, like when it goes into the battle system, because again, I had no idea what this was. I just knew that it was Toby Fox made it. So when I started it up and like characters from Undertale show up, and I was like, what? Like I was like, I don't know how I feel about this because like that is like a very special thing to me, and I don't necessarily need more of it. And then obviously it starts to kind of differentiate itself in a lot of ways. Thematically very quickly. But like there was a genuine moment where like you see the combat for the first time and I was like, I out loud said, this is fucking awesome. And that's the moment where I was like in. So you would have seen that by that point as well, Tony. Yeah, I don't know. It's a weird thing. I haven't finished it. I don't have a complete thought on it, but obviously any follow up to a game that we all liked so much is
great,
especially like one that has a lot of good and bad feelings about it. Like we've since Undertale has come out, we've talked a little bit about how that community around Undertale has been a little negative, but like that's something I'm so divorced from. Like I'm so removed. I don't know what all the what people who like Undertale do and how they act and whatnot. I just really like Undertale itself. There's a lot of pressure on that. It's a weird. It's very similar to how I felt going into Persona 5 of like this is following up something that I really care about. Blah blah blah. There's really cool bits to it, and if nothing else, Toby Fox made a whole bunch of new music for it, and it's all very good so far. And the soundtrack is available on Bandcamp for $7. So I am gonna get that. But yeah, it's. But by referential to Undertale, like there is a combat system that allows you to spare enemies. They get into that. You saw it, Nomishin, when they have like kind of a tutorial moment in there as well. But it's like right after what you played up till, Tony, where they were like, hey, you can spare enemies, and like the mechanics are a little bit more elaborate. Like there's magic and there are more actions that you can take, and et cetera, et cetera. And you have party members, which is completely new. But it's funny, it's well written, it looks good, the music's great. It's free, so I would say, hey, check it out. Deltarune seems pretty cool. Are you gonna keep playing it, Tony?
Yeah, I definitely play.
Are you gonna check it out now that you know this, Scott?
Yeah.
Cool. I will. I'll try and get through it by the next time we record. At the very least, we can talk about it at the end of the year, so we don't spoil it. But I feel confident in saying, like, hey, if you liked Undertale, you should probably play this, or at least check it out. It's free. So what are you doing? What are you doing? Do you have any feelings coming out of it, Nabashin?
It's like what you said. Like I need to be in the right moment, in the right time, and right place for this. I can just have this like envelop me more or less. So like that's pretty much what I'm waiting for right now.
Yeah, it's also like I don't play a lot of games on PC. I know that's
Nonsense.
This is the game that does my one exception for that. So
Yeah.
like or the series I should say. So like it's like one of those things where it's like, oh, I gotta play on my laptop, so
yeah.
gotta set everything up so I can have this be tolerable for me.
Yeah, exactly. It's like I'm playing with the directional number keys and directional keys and Z, X, and C as my buttons. So excuse me while I complain about PC gaming and firmware updates and whatnot. But yeah. Anything else, Nabashin?
That's pretty much it on my side.
Dope. Tony. Video games.
Play League of Legends.
Dude, how is it?
Pretty good.
Pretty good. Did you vacillate to hating anything this week, or are you still pretty positive?
Positive.
Okay, that's good. I'm just trying to keep you positive.
Yeah, I've been grinding it out because I don't know if I talked about it on the show before, but I'm collecting these tokens for a skin that you can only get by collecting 2,500 tokens. And you can only earn them 6 at a time.
You've not mentioned this.
Yeah, so the world because the World Championships have been going on, which ended last night. By the way, really this morning. They had this thing where you could buy like a pass to the World Championship, and it's kind of like the book that you could buy in Dota, but a little bit less sophisticated. But what it does is it allows you to earn tokens that are part of like the crafting system, and you can craft the tokens into different rewards. And there've been like 100 different rewards you could craft them into. And the rate you earn them at is you get 15 for your first win of the day. You get 6 if you win. You get 3 if you lose. You get 3 if you score an A on your champion. You get 6 if you score an S or higher. So typically you're getting if you win and you get 9 or 12 tokens a game.
Damn.
So now, like 2 months ago, so like a week or two after they announced this system, they're like, hey, here's a preview of some of the rewards. And one of the biggest reward that you can get from doing it is this prestige, like golden skin for one of the characters who just got a skin from that KDA like pop star event. And it costs 2,500 tokens.
Jesus.
So you have to grind like hard to get it. And that came out this morning right after the Worlds ended, because the idea behind the pop stars is it's like the after party for Worlds. And so anyway, yeah, that came out, and right now as it stands, I'm at 2,481 tokens.
Jesus.
So I just barely short. It's okay. So I have to play like 3 or 4 more games and I'll be able to get it.
So you said you get like roughly 9 a game, right?
9 or 12 if you do really well, but if you lose and not do very well, you won't. So I would say it averages out to somewhere around 7 or 8 tokens a game if you are playing well.
So on average, 7 tokens a game, let's just say. That's 357 games, roughly, which translates to, let's say, average
35
of
minutes.
35 minutes a game. That translates roughly to about 12,500 hours. Tony, are you okay?
Yeah. It's not 12,500 hours, though.
Okay. That's good. 12,500 minutes, you're correct. That's a lot of minutes, though.
It's a lot of league, dude. It's been so fun. But it's not that bad because, like I said, every day also you get kind of an extra, 15. So your first win of each day gives you something like 50 tokens.
Oh, okay. It's 208 hours.
Yeah, and then every 3 days they've come out with like missions to do that you can earn like 10 tokens for each one. There'll be like 3 of them. Like right now, there's one since they just launched the after party thing. It's like win a game as each of the new champions that just got skipped, and you get 10 tokens each time you win a game for the first time with those 5 or 4 champions. So that's 40 you could get there, plus every game you played. If you win, you get 6, and if you did well, you get another 3 or 6. So it's not as bad as it sounds, but it is definitely a whole lot of League of Legends.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I wasn't sure if I was gonna be able to play enough to get it, and it's neat that I was able to get all the tokens and I'll be able to get on the day that it comes out.
Yeah,
because there are only they're technically like a month between now and when it expires, so there was an extra month in there that I could have had time to do it. But you got to get it day it comes out.
Yeah, you want to show up and be gold.
Yeah.
You don't want to show up and be late.
Yeah, plus the skin looks like Taylor Swift, so I'm about it.
All right. I was going to say this sounds like a waste of time for a skin for a character that isn't Aurelion Sol, but if it looks like Taylor Swift, I'll allow it.
Yeah, dude. What if it was an Aurelion Sol skin that looks like
you would have killed a human to get it at this
probably.
point.
I would have killed you and then went to Japan.
Yeah, and then just gotten it from the source, even though it's not in Japan.
Cool.
Yeah.
Thanks, buddy.
That's another good podcast moment. That time Greg Blaney said he would kill me to go to Japan.
It's a long time ago, too.
That was like 4 years ago.
You're still alive, though, thank God.
I know, but Greg, you guys don't know this, but I see Greg every week. He comes to my house to hang out with Ethan and drink beer and watch movies every Tuesday night. And that motherfucker's eyeing me.
You just know why he's really there.
Yeah, exactly. He might be poisoning my water supply, wearing me down.
The thing about going to Japan after killing is he's got to get away with it.
Yeah, he's got to get away with it. If he gets caught and he's arrested, he can't get to Japan. The best part was this week specifically. I'm just down here doing my thing, playing video games, and I go upstairs to see Greg shirtless. Which I don't know if I've ever seen Greg shirtless. Shirtless, laying on the couch at an angle, just with a Bud Light Platinum in his hand. And let me tell you, y'all haven't seen anything until you've seen that. And they were watching. It was like the night before Halloween, so they were watching something spooky. I don't know. Something fun. Can you guys dress up? I never asked.
No.
Okay.
No.
I dressed
I
down.
worked.
Nope.
Me too. I slept, actually. That was my day off, was Wednesday. I thought about watching something spooky, but I didn't end up doing it. I was going to watch It, because I heard that's good.
Fuck that.
But we talked about spooky movies last time, so.
Yeah. So anyway, that was my league.
Cool. Hey, you play anything else?
So today, I played some Black Desert Online.
Jesus. Is the private server up?
It's up for just today for their second beta. So they can make sure that their bug fixes worked and collect any other bugs they need to fix over the next couple days before they actually open the server.
All right.
So I was like, I'll pop in there. It's Black Desert. It seems like it'd be good, but there's not enough time in one day to really figure out if a server is going to be good. So what I could tell, they just gave everybody 5,000 pearls, which is the in-game currency that you could buy for real money on the regular game.
Nice.
Just because it's just a day, who cares? And everything's getting wiped after. But yeah, what I was looking around, some of this, the way that you earn pearls in there is you can't buy them. You have to earn them by doing daily quests. And so and it's only 100 from 8 different quests. So they've turned down the prices on a bunch of the pearl item stuff to kind of balance that. So it actually seems like it's really good. So for Scott, a pet is 100 pearls.
Okay.
Which seems all right.
That's a 10th.
Yeah, which seems all right.
Yeah, is it what does 100 pearls translate to in real money if I was playing
$1.
it? Okay. I could spend $1 and I could get a pet.
Yeah, dude. So I bought 5 pets and I named them. One is named Scott, and then they're all named other people who I played regular Black Desert with. So I got a harem of 5 dudes who I played Black Desert with following me around.
That's pretty good.
It's pretty.
A harem of 5 dudes.
A harem of 5 dudes. You heard me correct.
It's just you're just feeding Nobishin titles at this point.
Yeah.
Just delivering them to him on a silver platter. Got to think long and hard about what the episode title for 400 is going to be. Oh, look, a harem of 5 dudes. Wow. Must be another fucking episode of Irrational Passions podcast, I guess.
Yep. Yeah, just fucking business as usual.
It's just, it's fucking Dadfinitive edition and a harem of 5 dudes. Boy, I see a running theme here, huh?
Weird.
Somebody scrolling through iTunes like, this podcast seems all right.
Yeah, but anyway, like, I got to finish playing that because, and I did it before, like, I went out to get lunch. But I was playing it this morning, but then they took it down to apply a bug fix. I was like, oh, this is the perfect time to go get lunch. And then I came back and I was like, you know what? I'm getting my league skin. But I have to get back on there at some point before the day ends and get to level 40, because if you get to level 40 in one of the betas, they'll allow you to reserve your name before the server launches. And I want a very specific, more common name than I would normally be able to get.
Tony.
No. We already know that I don't even want that on PlayStation Network.
Yeah, that made me think of that.
But yeah, so I want to be able to do that because I want someone to steal my fucking name. Because there are a lot of people on this new private server who are playing online, and I was relatively well known on the last one, so I don't want someone to steal my fucking name.
I respect that.
Yeah. It's kind of like how whenever a new social media network opens up, like regardless of what it is, anyone who has, that they don't want or that even has like some sort of follow has to go there and like immediately sign up so their name doesn't get taken.
Yeah, I am by no means popular by any means at all in any world, but I wonder if somebody has Alphighter 27 somewhere else.
I actually have it on every social media platform you do, so that next time you're like, oh, hey, this thing called Bumble opened.
I was gonna say Bumble too.
Let me go sign up for Bumble with Alphighter 27. I'd be like, wait, someone already took my name? What is this?
That, I've never run into that yet, but there will be a day when it happens. Like,
that's when you know you made it.
That's when it's true. There you go. So I know.
Why do you think Barrett changed his name?
Yeah, Sad Boy Barrett. Heaven forbid Banandler Chong was taking this seriously. I was so sad when he changed his name. Here in a new segment I like to call Catching Up with Nobishin. Nobishin, how do you feel about PSN name changes?
A very necessary evil, I feel, because like the whole BS with them like pretty much having like everything like pretty much be broken when they do it, like I think that was totally expected. Why do you think it took like 10 years for it to even happen? And and I think like eventually all your PS4 stuff will more or less will be okay.
Yeah,
but like I think your PS3, your PSP, and your Vita stuff is just completely fucked.
Yeah.
So like as far as like even like getting DLC for your old games or even getting your old games to be bought digitally, like that seemed like the whole reason why it took so long. So it's expected, but for me, honestly.
Yeah.
We talked about 26 is forever for me, so no, I don't need to change my name.
Yeah. Exactly. I was you listened to it, I'm sure, but I'm very glad that I had just when 2007 rolled about, I had just kind of settled on Alphighter 27, and now I'm good with that being my universal. Scott.
Oh, one more thing.
Oh?
I just wanted to mention to Tony that even though you're probably not gonna be at Extra Life Law that you said, but like Tetris Effect, that's a game you should play, my dude.
I will check it out.
We'll get to Tetris Effect. All right, I played Tetris Effect this week, and we will get there. Scott, video games.
I got good at using the chaos thing in Wizard of Legend.
That's good. I know you were adjusting last week.
Yes. So, it is a much more difficult skill to get good.
Mm-hmm.
But now I'm pretty consistently getting to the final floor in the end boss.
Okay.
I'm not winning because that guy's hard, Very hard.
Yes.
But I am much more consistently getting to the end stages than
Okay.
I was with the previous build.
Do you think after you wrap up a run with this build that you're kind of done with Wizard of Legend, or do you think you're going to keep playing it?
It depends. I kept going because the chaos spell that I got was just a lot of fun to use.
Mm-hmm.
If the next spell I get isn't so much fun, then there's a good chance I'll put it down.
Okay, that's fair. There is
But it is. I'm gonna keep going.
All right. I'll recommend just to throw a game recommendation your way, Scott. You know I don't like to do that to you too much. But next week, this is for the other two of you, also something worth checking out. Next week, Moonlighter comes out on Switch, which I played earlier this year. It's like that dungeon crawler mixed with shopkeeper sim. Very, very big fan of it. I was looking.
Where did you play this at?
I played it on Xbox One.
Okay.
Because it came to PS4, Xbox One, and PC in March, I believe, or April. And of course, I was like, "Fuck, it's coming to Switch, isn't it?" And they were like, "Yeah, it's coming to Switch. We don't know when." I'm like, Mike reviewed it, and he liked it. He thought it was okay. He didn't love it, but I played it. I loved it. It's coming to Switch next week. I'm like, I might buy that game again. But as it is available on PC, if you would like to check it out, Tony, and for Namish and Scott, it is a perfect Switch game. It's one of those games that I think really fits the platform. I like it a lot. I think you might dig it, Scott, in particular. So, if you, for example, finish Wizard of Legend again, and you're like, I think I'm good to take a break from this, there's another recommendation to kind of fill that spot.
All right.
Anything else you've been playing this week?
I booted up Flower Tail again.
Blossom Tales.
Yes.
Shout out to Flower Tail. Did you finished that game, right?
No, I didn't.
Okay. Did you finish it this time?
No.
Okay.
I'm pretty close to where that final dungeon is.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not even sure if it's a dungeon yet, but for the most part, I've been exploring the area. I don't know why, but the difficulty of the area decided to do that spike that's common in JRPGs.
Yes.
And it's just weird.
It is weird.
Because before the game was just easy.
I went through this exact thing, and I was like, this is super weird. Like, this is almost like a kid's game, but now it's like weirdly very difficult.
And the thing is, it's not too difficult. It's just that much more difficult than before.
Yeah, than what it used to be.
It's like this could have had a good progression from stage 1 to stage 2 to stage 3, which didn't change.
Yes.
It just didn't change.
It was just the same.
It was just the same. And now it is, for some reason, just that much more difficult for kind of no reason. Now,
Yes.
it would make sense if there was another completely different arc to the story, and this was the start of it, and that was the tutorial rounds. And the game was just this hard from now on, and then a little harder at the end of, I want to say, 6 more dungeons.
Yes. I agree with
but
everything
I
you're
already
saying.
know that this is the last one.
Yes. You are correct.
That's why it's so jarring.
Yes. I agree. I think I said as much in my eventual review.
I'm pretty sure I also found the hardest puzzle in the game.
Is it the one behind the waterfall with the fucking Simon Says shit?
No, I beat that one. That one was a little easy.
All right, I'm bad at Simon Says puzzles. All right, you don't have to rub it in.
There's also another Simon Says in a house with a wizard in it.
Mm-hmm. I think I did that one.
Yeah. That one was also not bad.
Yeah.
So no, it is you blow up a rock and it is a stone pushing puzzle.
I think I know what you're talking about as well. Yeah. Because there's only like 3 puzzles in that game, 3 types of puzzles, and they all just get progressively harder. Yeah. It's like the one where you have to step on all the things without stepping on anything twice.
No. You see, this is a pushing.
I know, I'm saying
This is the. Oh, okay.
those are just those 3. Like the Simon Says, you step on all the parts and then push stones.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, this particular one is the one where the second you go in, you are blocked off by stones you have to push. And immediately, if you choose the wrong one, you have to restart the puzzle.
I will say a mechanic I like in Blossom Tales is like they map like reset puzzle to a button. Do they, or to like you can reset the puzzle pretty easily in that, which I appreciate.
Extremely easily. Anytime you fall out of line in the stone pushing ones, they reset. Anytime you do the same on the tile ones, those also reset.
Yeah.
And Simon Says when you just smack something
Yep.
the wrong way, that resets.
Yeah.
But no, for this one it was you had to so that was the first one. It's you the second you get in, you have one space, and then you're immediately blocked off by 2 stones. You choose the wrong one, you immediately lost, and you have to choose the one at the top to immediately go up, around, push it back down so you can get to the other side of the puzzle, to then push another stone down. And it's just this repeating process where you have to go through that. And when you can make several wrong moves, but you won't notice that you've made the wrong move until you've looped back another 2 times and you're stuck.
Yeah, it sounds a little tedious.
Right. So that's why I said that one's probably the hardest one in the game.
Okay.
If you found that one, because you can easily miss it.
Yeah,
it's not a part of any dungeon.
Yeah, I don't think I saw that one.
Go down, and when you finish it, you get a heart piece and then another 5 chests. Yeah, there's six golden chests. 5 of them can just contain coins. I think I got 300 coins just from that puzzle.
Nice.
And the heart piece.
I will say I like the sound that it makes when you pick up a coin in that game. It's a good sound. Good coin get sound. All right. Anything else you've been playing?
A little more League. I found this hilarious strategy in League.
Here we go.
Called Inting Scion. And not exactly new either. But what Inting Scion stands for is intentionally feeding Scion.
Okay.
So the premise of the build is that when Scion dies, for a short amount of time, he comes back to life with max attack speed.
Okay.
So when he dies, he still does damage to anything he wants after death.
Damn.
So what you can do in the second part of this is every time you kill a minion, he gains health. So you can build some damage, gain a lot of health, so you have more time while dead to smack shit, and you can run at turrets. And there's quite a bit the enemy team can do about it if they're all at once. But if you get any significant amount of time at a turret by yourself, and they have to send more than one person to get you, else that turret is going down. One person cannot deter you from the turret because they have to do way more than kill you once.
Let me put on my League of Legends expert glasses real quick for a moment here. Does that make Scion a good mid laner?
No.
Okay, let me take these off then. We can go ahead and retire that character real quick.
Basically, what you do is you tell your team what objective you want. So they go to one side of the map and you go to the other. And the enemy team has to pick and choose what they're going to do. They can, unless they're extremely fed, they have to split the team 2 to 3 to try and counter the objective, and that generally just doesn't work for them.
That's a cool strategy. Tony, what's your opinion on this hot strat?
It should be removed from the stupid.
That's what I like to hear. Can your Aurelian Soul take down a Scion real quick?
No.
No. If he's playing Aurelian Soul, he doesn't go anywhere near me.
Wait, Tony, real quick. I know I'm derailing here. I apologize, Scott. Is Aurelian Soul a good mid laner?
He only goes mid.
Now I'm an expert.
I mean,
I feel like you already
don't
knew.
get me.
I did.
Don't get me wrong. There's several ways to shut down the build,
Mm-hmm.
and that's basically you can't just start doing this straight out the gate. You have to hit a few breakpoints before you do it.
Yeah.
The first is something like 3,000 health. The second is your first 2 items.
Yeah.
And if you can shut him down for long enough, then you can kind of mitigate how quickly he can start doing that. And if you can push that to like the 18-minute mark, then you have a significantly higher chance of winning, even if you take the losing trades.
Okay. That I'm listening. There was a part of me that forgot that you buy items in MOBAs. And I'm like thinking about it here. And I think Tony, I think like Call of Duty Zombies is like a PvE MOBA.
Nope.
I think it is. It's like lanes. This alleyway.
There aren't lanes.
There are lanes in my heart.
You're also not defending turrets.
You're defending
You're defending yourself.
Boards that zombies are ripping off the walls. Can I ask you again? I just brought up zombies. I know I'm all over the map tonight. Tony, is there a point in Black Ops 4 Zombies where you're just not repairing boards anymore?
No, you don't do it. It's not a priority from the very beginning.
Okay, that's good. I feel like that is such a crutch on all other zombies modes.
But like, you still do it if you need a couple points between rounds. You get so many Carpenter power-ups that like it doesn't even fucking matter.
Carpenter power-ups?
Carpenter repairs all boards.
Oh, yes. Just slows everybody down a little bit. Okay. Well, Scott, I'm glad you're still enjoying this MOBA here, this League of Legends game. Scion looks cool. I'm looking at a picture of him. He's got like a metal jaw, a big axe, a big...
yeah, his base skin's way cooler than almost every other one of his skins.
He's got a big red tummy.
Yep.
His in-game model is a little silly looking, though. I'm gonna be honest. Cool. Anything else?
No.
All right. How would you guys?
It was boring, but it was a little busy. Maybe.
Yeah. How would you guys feel about taking a little break and coming back with some news and video games that I played and questions from our wonderful audience? How does that sound?
That sounds.
It does sound. All right, let's do it. We're going to take a break, come back with all that stuff I just said, and we'll be back in just a little bit. We are back on the video side. Mike finished Red Dead 2, which I'm pretty impressed by. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. Mike Burgess he must be a machine. I cannot fathom when that motherfucker sleeps, because he's like,
Never
yeah,
is when he sleeps.
and he doesn't. He can't, because he's like, yeah, I finished all of the My Hero Academia game. I have a video review that's almost done for it. I'm like, where the fuck did you get the time? He's editing this little hint for our video viewers. He's editing a new video series that's going to come out next week with him and Logan. And I'm like, where? Like, what? Dude's a machine. I can't. And he beat Red Dead. He's platinum Spider-Man in 2 days. Like, he's a very impressive human. All right. Hey, welcome back.
Hello.
Thank you. I played video games. I played some video games. Namashin, from me to you, man, Valkyria Chronicles 4 is breaking me.
I've been hearing.
This
Is it just getting too hard, or
it's very hard. It's like, I can't begrudge it, because I think the majority of that game, specifically chapters 1 through 14, are like very interesting and do a lot mechanically, and they change up mission structure and a lot, and map structure and all these things frequently. And then I don't necessarily want to spoil it, but it runs into a similar problem that the first Valkyria Chronicles game ran into, of like, it introduces this essentially a boss, and I just don't know if it works. I want it to work, and it wants it to work, and I want it to succeed, but I also just want to get through this mission at this point. And I've been grinding, which I thought I would never have to do in Valkyria Chronicles, and it's frustrating. My feelings went from overwhelmingly positive to slightly more complex about that game, and that's that is the way it goes. I hope to finish it before Extra Life, but I don't think that's going to happen at this point. I might hunker down and just play it all day tomorrow on my day off and just try and get it done. But it has been a very long time, and it could just be indicative of the place I am in my life. It's been a very long time since I've screamed at a video game, but I definitely did that at Valkyria Chronicles 4. And I just had to put it down. I'm like, I got to do something else. I say this knowing that I'm generally very positive on the game, and I love it dearly. It's easily one of my favorite games I've played this year, but it's got problems. Video games got problems. Can't all be good. Sometimes I guess it can. But what I did play is Tetris Effect, the demo. There's a free demo available for Tetris Effect, a video game that I played at PAX West in VR. Didn't play the demo in VR, but you can if you'd like to. I'm going to say this earnestly to everyone listening to this podcast. Don't sleep on Tetris Effect. It's $40. I know. It's a lot to pay for Tetris. But I promise you, this game...
What effect does it have?
There's a lot of effects. Actually, there's a lot of visual effects. It had an emotional effect on me. I got very emotional playing the game because of the music, which I didn't necessarily expect. It's bringing a lot to the table, I promise. You pay 40 bones and you get 40 bones worth, maybe even more. If you have a VR headset, PSVR, it's even better, even without it, which is how I played this demo. Still a great experience.
Agreed.
Tetris on its own is very good. If you add a cool twist mechanic to that where you can freeze time, amazing music, and excellent visuals, you get Tetris Effect, and it is something special. That could be our game of the year. Found it. But yeah, go check out Tetris Effect. Like I said, the demo's up. It's worth it, man. Just take 20 minutes, play it, just for a little bit, and I promise you won't be disappointed. I played Deltarune and Red Dead. We already talked about. The one thing we haven't talked about yet that I played actually a lot of this week was Assassin's Creed Odyssey, which I think has finally turned around for me.
Good.
I'm getting there. You know what I mean? Like,
because it seems like a very Alex O'Neil game, other than like the fact that it's like all your problems with Assassin's Creed Origins in it as well. As far as it being too big and too much, right? Was that the issue?
The thing about Origins was it overstayed its welcome. I was at the 30-hour point. I was like, this would be a good spot for it to end, and then it went on for 9 more hours.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, boy, that would have been a good spot for it to end, both narratively and mechanically. And it just kind of stayed and kept going. And I was like, ugh. I was just kind of done with it by the end. The last 5 hours, I am like mainlining as hard as I possibly can through a game that I generally like to kind of meander about and do side quests and have fun with. And I'm like, the thing about Odyssey, it lets you flex, right? You can kind of go back and forth between mainlining and just meandering. And I think that's good. That works for that game. It's obviously much bigger. It's got a lot of water in it, and I was really worried about there being a lot of boat stuff. Not a lot of boat stuff. I spend as little time on the boat as I can. I don't think it's very good, personally. There are boat scenes in Origins that are fine. I thought they were cool the first time I did it, and again, by the end, I was like, boy, I am sick of this. But I don't think Odyssey has that same problem. I think there's stuff that you can do. There are naval side quests that you can go on. There's a little like questing board on your ship that you can just pick up. Like there are daily quests in this game for some fucking reason. I have no idea why. But you can just pick up shit and get XP and gold and whatnot. But I've done none of that, and it has not hurt my experience at all. So that's good. I don't know. Like, I'm just at a point where like, so there's some mechanics that build in your like skill tree. They build in the background. A big thing is like there are like supers in this game. They're like special abilities, and they have cooldowns, and they use like a super meter. It's called your adrenaline bar, which is split into segments, right? And there is, as you like level up and hit certain thresholds, anytime you use a segment of your adrenaline bar, you get a certain amount of health back, like a percentage of health back. At the very beginning of the game, it's basically no health. Where I'm at, it's like, I think it's like 8 to 10%. It's in that range, which doesn't seem like a lot, but I have some moves that will use like 3 segments of the adrenaline bar at once, and then I'm getting like 30% health back from doing that. It's like, oh, okay, that makes a big difference. So I'm like, just by doing stuff in combat, I'm getting health back, and I'm just generally taking less damage. Like it is scaled in a way that I feel like the armor is just like OP at some point. I imagine when I hit level 50, I'm like level 27 now. I imagine when I hit level 50, like enemies will barely do any damage to me. I can't imagine them doing so. But like doing stuff in combat is keeping you alive in a way that is interesting mechanically. But it also is like, I'm having less of that issue where I feel like it takes me 1,000 fucking hits to kill an enemy, and they can take me out in 4. Like that is less of an issue now. It's still a problem that's still present to some extent, and there are still like way more big dudes than there are just regular guys, and it's like, why is it like this, and why are there so many captains, and why does every other enemy I have to fight, I have to shoot, I have to strafe around them in a circle and shoot them with arrows until they die, like at close range? Like, why is this like this? I don't know. And I still definitely get frustrated in combat, but it happens a lot less now. So it is just kind of like turned where I am beefy enough that I can kind of deal with it. But to kind of answer what you were saying, Navashin, like Cassandra is so fucking compelling just because I love to see how she's going to react to some shit. Because sometimes she's just like got funny shit to say. And it's great. And she's just like such a great character in every way. And that really, not that Bayek is by any means a bad character. I just think that he was way more grounded and Cassandra's a little absurd. And that it's kind of great, you know, it makes it a little bit more ridiculous and more fun. I don't know. So I got to a point where I'm in that game and I fought a mythical creature. I found a labyrinth and I found a minotaur. Spoilers, I guess. It's been a month, but that was cool. I was like, man, this is like the way that all played out and the way I found that. I couldn't beat it because it was level 40 and like I said, I'm level 27. And I had to end up like loading an old save because I literally couldn't do anything. And you can't get out of that room once it's loaded and the autosave just restarts you at the beginning of that fight. So I'm like, cool, I guess I got a good thing. This game keeps 5 autosaves. So that was not great, but it was just like, it was a cool, like the way this creature looks in this game and the way it's kind of like proportioned and built to look kind of realistic in a way that, you know, doesn't necessarily break of what Assassin's Creed is. And the area that it is in implies where it came from, and that's kind of cool in a greater Assassin's Creed lore kind of way. And that's cool. And there are other mythical creatures that are all in these different kind of vaults that you can find throughout the world. But yeah, it's like in Greek mythology, Theseus was like this guy that went through the labyrinth and fought the Minotaur and beat it. And like they incorporate that into the location that you fight the Minotaur. It's like, oh, this is like, it's a great blending of what Assassin's Creed used to be and what it's trying to become. And that's cool. Like the fact that there are like 3 or 4 of those whole areas and whatnot in that game, I'm really excited to see the other ones. Yeah, I'm a big fan of that. But I do keep having a thought while I'm playing Odyssey where I'm like, I think it would just be way cooler if the guys that made this game just made a totally original fantasy RPG. I think that would be way more interesting. And I think if the cuffs were off, the folks making this kind of Assassin's Creed game could make something way the fuck cooler. Especially like with a character like Cassandra, who is essentially a mythical figure in that game. Like, she has an eagle that she can see through the eyes of that apparently she's just had since birth. And, you know, so because in Greek mythology, an eagle is a symbol of Zeus, they think that she is the daughter of Zeus in a lot of ways or connected to him in some ways. And that Zeus gifted her this eagle. And so you're kind of a mythical creature in that world. And they don't ever really explain how it works like they did in Origins. Like, I don't know how I can see through the eyes of this eagle. I just can, I guess. But yeah, it just makes me want them to just do their own thing. Like, just drop Assassin's Creed. Like, just, I feel like that is the way that this should go. It's not the way that it will go, but they've like broken themselves away from that franchise almost so completely that I think it is creatively where they want to go. But I don't know. I don't want to assume one way or the other. But yeah, I don't know. I'm enjoying it more. I'm about 35, 37 hours in, somewhere in that range. And I want to keep playing as opposed to where I was with Origins, where I was like, I'm fucking done. To be fair, I was there at like the 25-hour mark, and I kept going. I kept pushing through because it was a good like filler game, and it, you know, a little mindless to do some side quests, and it is kind of turned around. There's also like big story moment that the game was kind of building to. I don't want to necessarily spoil it all, but you found someone that you were looking for a while. very Witcher-like, not the same but similar, and it was like really well done. It was really emotional, and the way the performance was done and it was captured and et cetera, all the dialogue and how these two characters looked at each other when they saw each other and interacted with one another was really fucking good. So, so far so good. Assassin's Creed Odyssey might actually be an okay video game. I think it's still got a ton of fucking problems, but it is getting better. So,
does for you personally, does the not necessarily the numbers in that game, but like the whole headshot thing doesn't do like a actual headshot type of thing? Like if you shoot from a distance and like you try to like go for a headshot, like the number goes down, but like it's not an actual headshot. Does that like break anything for you? Because like wasn't it in previous Assassin's Creed game, like if you go for like a headshot or something like that, it actually is a headshot?
Yeah, I talked about this I think 2 weeks ago at this point. Like if you in Origins, if you had your bow out, just your regular ass fucking bow, because there's like 4 different kinds of bows, but if you just had your regular ass bow out and you shot some dude in the head, it would kill him, assuming that they were the same level as you. In this game, if you do that, it does like a third of their life. It does more damage than a body shot, but it doesn't kill them. And there's like a first person aim down sights ability that you get pretty early on, and that typically does kill them if you headshot them with it, if they're the same level. Not if they're one of the beefy boys or the captains. And it's stupid. I just want to be able to aim my bow and shoot it and it hit somebody in the head and kill them, and you can't do that. That breaks it for me. I don't really care that the headshot is like a critical hit and it does like double or triple damage or whatever. I care that I can't just do that and get like the I have to do this dumb first person thing that doesn't feel as good and it doesn't look as good and it's annoying. And yeah, it's a very. I feel like I'm the only one that's complained. Only person in the world that's complained about that. I have not seen anyone else say anything that specific about it, but it really bothers me. It's like
because
maybe my least favorite part of that game.
it's like one of those things like because I remember hearing you saying that, and I guess I forgot it was you that actually said it, but I remember like there's a reason why I heard it from somewhere and like it would bring it up. So but it was you who said it, so that makes sense now. But it's like. Again, it's one of those turn section type of things, like because you were talking about like the big boys in those games, and I was like, it made me think about like another last gen thing is like, oh, the big beefy guy, like, oh, how do I take him down? Like even in Spider-Man, like there's like the big beefy guy, how do I take him down? Oh, I had to like actually like get behind him, and it's not really like interesting, it's not fun, it's just like more annoying of a thing to go against, and it's like. Not thinking about how like Batman does that better. It's like you're beefy, but like I can hit you like a million times, and like there's certain ways I can actually just take you out.
When you do the thing that you have to do to take them down, it feels really good in Batman. Yeah, in this especially, like the elites, quote unquote, that are just like bigger dudes, like they look like fat people. Like to be, I know that's rude to say, but like that's what they are designed like. They look like just chubbier. Like broader guys. The only difference is they do more damage and take more damage. Mechanically, that is, and they typically do more heavy attacks, which you can't parry. And that's just annoying. It is not like they are not interesting in any way. They just have more health and do more damage and a heavy attack more. And it's like stupid. And the captains are just like normal enemies, but they have like gold on their fucking number that indicates what level they are, and they have more health and they do more damage, and it's like I just want to get through this fucking fort. I just want to kill everyone in this fort and get all the treasure, and now I have to run away because I was discovered by one dude, and now all these captains are attacking me, and I don't want to fight them because it takes 20 minutes to kill one of them.
Because that seems insane to me. Because like that seems like it seems like Assassin's Creed tries to be like this immersive type of game, but like they make it something so video game like that. It's just like, why would you do that?
It went so like Origins. I think toted the line better, right? Because most of anyone that you assassinate in that game, like you do an assassination attack on, you're gonna kill. Like for the most part, if you were stealthed and you assassinate, like there are some rare exceptions of like really tough dudes, and they kind of build them up as tough guys. Like warriors, you're gonna just kill them. In this, it's like even a regular dude, if he's one level higher than you, he'll have like just a little bit of health left if you assassinate him. Then you have to like it'll switch from assassinate to stealth attack, and then after you stealth attack him, you have to like hit him real quick 2 or 3 times, and or else everyone else will just come rushing to you. I will say like they've done a better job of like if one dude sees me, not everybody is gonna come flying at me. Like sure. I have a minute to kind of deal with him if I can. But like if I didn't get a stealth attack off on that guy, he has full health. It's gonna take 10 hits for me to kill this guy. Like somebody's probably gonna see by then, and if one person sees and I don't deal with him right away, I'm usually still dealing with the first guy, then everyone's going to get here. And then it's a whole fucking mess. It is just, you're right, Nabashin. It is like, Origins was the line, this is all the way in the video game camp. And that's fine. It's funny because like I've been thinking about this a lot. Why do I have an issue having to hit enemies like 1,000 fucking times to kill them in this? But in Ys 8, which I haven't played in a bit, but like they're big, these big special dinosaur like enemies. It takes like you gotta hit them like a whole lot. But I'm fighting a big fucking monster guy, and over here I'm just fighting a chunky dude, and I got nothing against chunky dudes. But why do I gotta hit you 30 times before you go down? It just seems so contrary to what Assassin's Creed has tried to do, and they swung too far in the other direction. I've thought about dropping it to easy just so I can just kill dudes in a reasonable amount of time. I know it's such a dumb thing to complain about because so many video games I play, I gotta hit dudes a whole lot to get through it. But it's dumb. It just is in this game. I just don't think it works, and I can't necessarily tell you why. I don't want to cop out and give like the immersion blah 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 excuse. I just think in this game it's bad. It doesn't feel good.
I mean, it's kind of like Wolf of Red Dead right now. Like that game is so immersive and it's so get into it, but like when it does the like, because like you can see the attention to detail they put into fucking everything in that game, but when it gets to like a glitch or like something cropping into your clipping through, I'm not saying crop, I mean clipping through like an environment or something like that, like kind of like oh man, but like that's like a moment in like or even like Tetris Effect. That game is so immersive, but it's immersive in its video game-ness. So it's a weird thing. It's a weird thing we can talk about.
I'm gonna go on a hunch, and I'm gonna say that it's probably more of a risk-reward thing. How often do you have to fight these captains? Too often. Constantly. What do you get out of it?
Usually,
usually some frustration.
Yeah,
that's about it.
Yeah, I mean,
like that's the thing about it. It's not Dark Souls where doing it once in some form of capacity is the whole thing.
Yeah,
it's doing it several times is repeatedly is a necessity.
Yeah.
It's once was fine, probably. You probably didn't mind it the first couple of times.
Yeah.
The 100th?
I think that you're onto something there, Scott, because like you said, like doing it once in Dark Souls, the thing about fighting like an elite enemy in Dark Souls is the parry in Dark Souls. You got it's unique timing windows to all the enemies. It is like you're learning a new thing, and every enemy is a little bit different from the last. Here, like fighting any enemy is pretty much just like fighting any enemy, right?
And then to top it off, because it's kind of not a whole thing,
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure there's a better reward in terms of proportion of how often you have to do it in Ys for fighting the Rex.
Yeah, you get a lot of XP, you get a lot of stuff.
Right.
Crafting
And here, what do you
materials.
get for killing the captains?
Maybe a purple drop. Maybe.
Purple drop.
I know. It's exactly.
How and like is that purple drop ever worth it?
It sometimes is, but like, I don't know, that you could fucking take the whole loot system out of this game. I don't think it would make a difference. Sometimes it's good. Like I got this cool bow, but like it's this one piece of loot that I've genuinely liked in these 30 plus hours of this game I've played. You know, it's I'm with you, Scott. That's a good point. It's just there are so many forts in this game. And there's so many captains. There's like 4 captains in every fort.
How many knights are there?
I mean, there are no knights. Ancient Greece, anti-knight.
Damn.
I know it's
It
fucked up.
like so it's constant daytime.
I mean, there's evenings, there's nighttime, but
Yeah, there you go.
there are
Are
no.
you ever in a fort at night?
Yes, I guess that is a night.
Fortnite?
No Fortnite. I didn't build walls at all. Yeah, I don't know. I have not. I guess I haven't heard a lot of discourse on that game. I got to talk to Moises about it. I feel like him and I need to have a one-off on this game.
It's probably because like the whole XP thing has been the whole thing about it, which most people don't have a problem with who actually play it and enjoy it. But like I think that took over the conversation of the issue with the game more than like the actual mechanics for the game.
Yeah, maybe. Because I'll say this: I looked in, so there are like EXP boosters you can get. I looked in that menu once. I'm like, this is all real scummy, and then I never looked back. But I don't know. I haven't had too much of a trouble with experience. I'll say like early on, there aren't a lot of very interesting side quests. It's just kind of some boilerplate stuff, and you had to do like a couple to get to the next level. That was a bummer, but I'm at a point where like I have so many different quests available to me that I can kind of just break away from the story and go to a new area and find something cool to do. Like the whole Minotaur stuff. Like there's a whole island to the southeast where the legend of the Minotaur comes from. Phocos? No, that's a different island, I think. A different area. And I was like, all right, well, this area is like recommended 27, 28. I can go there now. And I just went there because I just wanted to. And it was cool. Like I could do it. And it was all totally not necessarily not required for the main plot. I think I'd probably have to go there eventually, but I just could break away and do that. And that's cool. One other thing, everything scales with you, which is just like, man, I just wish I could go back to the old areas and be like a fucking wrecking crew. Like, I just wish, and the game doesn't let me have that, and that sucks. So, like, all the early areas scale to 2 levels below your level, which is just high enough to be still a little annoying. You can mostly, wreck shop. I'm not saying that it's, like, by any means as hard as the on-level or higher stuff, but you're not like one-shotting dudes, and I kind of wanted that, and I never got it. You know what I mean? But I don't know. There's a whole the big mechanic I haven't really talked about in that game is the whole cult of Cosmos, which is like the Templar, I guess, equivalent in this game, and there's a whole cult system that is pretty cool. But I don't know. I've said enough about Assassin's Creed Odyssey, at least for now. I'm gonna keep playing it though. So here we are. Maybe they did something right. It's like for me, it is a swimming in sevens game, and I think that's good and that's bad. It's got problems. You guys want to talk about some news? Yeah. Okay, let's do it.
News in gaming.
I really like it when Alex is like, "You guys want to talk about some news?" and then no one says anything. So I purposely told him, like, "Let's see how long you wait."
I would force the news down your throat at some point.
Hell yeah!
All right, Smash Brothers, the final direct, the final Nintendo Direct.
Didn't they add some weird ass character?
They did. We'll get there. Scott, are you aware of any?
I'm aware of it.
Okay. So, did you watch the direct or not?
I didn't watch it.
Okay. They unveiled the final 2 characters for the roster, which has now unveiled all of the launch day roster of 74 characters. The final 2 characters announced were Ken from Street Fighter, who is an Echo Fighter of Ryu, or Ryu, if you prefer. I don't know why you would, but here we are. And Incineroar, who is from Pokemon. He is the final evolution of Litten. From what I understand, is a lit kitten. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's what the word on the street is, at least. Which are 2 cool final characters. I was someone who is totally disinterested in Incineroar when he was kind of like rumored to be the new Pokemon rep. But when you see that furry boy in action, he is very good. And he's honestly now, like, looking at the roster, he's one of my favorite new characters just because of how much personality he has.
So was that poster reveal that what happened, or that poster leak rumor?
That was fake,
Fully
man.
confirmed? Yeah, it was fake.
Yeah, which is again, I don't know if I was completely on the Believe bandwagon. I definitely wanted to have my boys, my boy and my girl, Banjo and Kazooie in there, and I definitely wanted that to happen. Not that it can't happen in the future, it's like DLC or anything, but I just and we did like a live episode of Podcast Ultimate that is on YouTube, archived now. We did it on Twitch, but you can watch it just to kind of get our reactions. And we had special guest Peter Spasia on from Show Me Your News to talk about it. It's just living in the reality where someone made that fake thing is just buck wild to me. But that's fucking Smash Brothers, man. People go out of their way to make crazy shit for this game. And they have before, like the whole Rayman fake from Smash for Wii U was also buck wild. So, yeah, I don't know. But they unveiled the last 2 characters. They showed a lot of the adventure mode in the game, which is called Spirits. Honestly, I could tell you what they showed you, and it still is something you have to see to believe, because they showed the opening cutscene to what that adventure mode is. Not a lot of story in it. It's probably only that opening cutscene or just an opening and ending cutscene, but boy, howdy, is it the fucking most wild thing I've ever seen. You just got to go watch it. You got to see it for yourself. But there's like a bunch of like RPG mechanics and stuff, and it seems cool. It seems like something you can spend your time in. But yeah, they talked about a bunch of little stuff. They talked about online play and mechanics. We don't necessarily have to get into all of it. We did kind of go beat by beat over it in Podcast Ultimate. If you really want to know everything, you want that reporting, and you haven't watched it yourself for some reason. But they also announced the plans for DLC for the game. There is a Fighter's Pass for $25. There planned to be 5 downloadable fighters between launch of December and February of 2020. So whether there will be more after that point, we don't know yet. I would expect so, personally. It's total speculation, not confirmed or anything, but they're planning at least that year to have 5 fighters come out. Each fighter will be $5.99 on their own, which is pretty good. And they will come with a new fighter, a new stage, and multiple new music tracks for each individual thing. You can get them all for $25. But before any of those fighters come out, there will be for a limited time, free fighter available to you. And it's a piranha plant. It is a piranha plant. It's really nothing else.
Hell yeah.
It's exactly, Scott. It is a thing that when you see it, you're like, this is dumb and weird and crazy, and this is exactly what Smash Brothers needs. It's fucking bonkers. I loved it. I think at first I was like, man. But, you just got to shake it from your head of like, well, just because this guy got in doesn't mean somebody didn't make it in. That is not the case at all. It is just they probably had an idea that someone worked on really hard and fleshed out and turned into this fighter that is coming out sometime between December and February. And it turns out is really weird and cool. So,
But Waluigi, man.
Waluigi can go
He's
suck an egg.
assist trophy.
He's an
and he
assist
didn't say
trophy.
that.
He's out. Shadow
Shadow
is an assist trophy. Isaac is an assist trophy. Get out of here. What do you, Namashi? I haven't heard your Smash Brothers feelings at all. Where you at? How you feeling?
Smash Bros. Looks great, like it always does. Not to say they dropped the ball for it on this direct compared to the other ones. But like more people seem more disappointed on this one just because like I was not necessarily that the hype that the rumors like brought the hype up too high for them, but like more of the fact of like the whole spirit mode thing just seems like a whole mode that no one's really gonna like really get into. At least not in a real way. Like sure you could be a completionist and try to like get all the spirits and stuff like that, but it's like, you know, like trophies were a cool thing. It was just a cool novel thing. Like sure I'll try to get all the trophies, but like the spirit thing just like seems like just a step too far as far as like stuff that people actually want to do in the game. And it's just like, this just nothing. I don't think it really piques anyone's interest. But you know, I'm glad that they put the effort into like making a story mode for what they have, and like the new characters seem awesome. I think that's a fantastic roster what they have, and like
dude.
and the fact that like whatever new that's coming out is not gonna be in an Echo Fighter, but like just gonna be a whole new character and doing it from scratch. And not to say that it won't put any more Echo Fighters in that game, which that's my theory at least. It's like
I would
like
bet they put out Echoes for
like,
free.
That's what I'm saying. Like if they do anything Echo, it'll probably be for free.
Which
I
is
think it would
great
be
because
cool.
you think about 5 new fighters and the possibility that there, and plus Piranha Plant, plus the possibility that there could be more free stuff. It's really cool. Yeah, I'm with you. I don't know, the adventure mode really appeals to me as someone who doesn't typically play Smash Brothers with other people. And I'm a sucker for a world map, dude. You know how this goes every fucking time. I see it, especially with hand-drawn art. I'm like, fuck, man, they got me. But yeah, Smash Bros. Seems great. 74 characters. It was like a cool thing where at the end, Sakurai's like, hey, like if we're gonna do more characters, they're all gonna be new, and that's the best part because like come Smash Wii U, like the first round of characters we got, it was like Mewtwo and then Lucas and Roy were a big part of that too. But now it's like, no, everybody who has been in Smash is in. Anyone who is coming as DLC is gonna be new. It's somebody that we've never seen before in this game, and it's just like the way that it all worked out for this having like everybody is in mentality. It couldn't have worked out better, I think. Plus, like the new characters that they're adding, like the Belmonts and Isabelle and Incineroar and the Splatoon kids and Ridley and all that, they're all so fucking cool looking. So, yeah,
it also weirdly in a way puts the pressure on like fighting games in the future because like fighting games. The thing about fighting games is like because the thing about fighting games is about their visuals. Other than like the fighting mechanics, it's like it's the fighting mechanics and the visuals are the second selling thing for fighting games. So like, and the characters, I guess you could say. So like, with the characters being that third thing, like if a new like the whole thing about Soul Calibur right now is like they're going back to the basics, but like they're going back to the basics, but not having like all the new characters in or all the old characters that from the old games in it, but like the original characters in it. But like, you know, like Terra, who was like a character who was like established since Soul Calibur 3, 4, and 5. Like she's been a mainstay, but she was locked behind like the season pass. So it's like this is one of those things where it's like, can you do that anymore now? Because like Smash Bros. Is now saying the president is, as like you not necessarily need that many characters, but like you shouldn't like take away from the old characters anymore.
It was
Like,
a similar thing from Super Street Fighter 4 to like Street Fighter 5, right? Like
mm-hmm.
I remember because Super Street Fighter 4 was where I came in, and it's also my first Street Fighter game ever, and it had like fucking, as far as I know, everybody in it. Like there were so many fucking characters in that game, and then Street Fighter 5 obviously had like a really small roster. It was like 16, right, or something like that.
Something like that, yeah.
And they were like, "Hey, this is a platform that we're trying to update and add people in regularly and mix it up a lot more and change people, and that's cool." But all these characters from 4 were just gone, and that's a bummer. Yeah, like it's such a cool thing. It makes Ultimate really feel like a platform that's going to live on for a while. And even Sakurai makes the joke in that direct of like, boy, I'm never going to get sleep, huh? And it's like, that's fucking sad. But, you can tell just that everything about that game feels like it's full of love. And that's awesome.
That's the main thing about it. It does feel like it's full of love. And, like, even, like, the fact that, like, it does have, like, a season pass with it and whatever is like, hey, I'm talking to you, like, this is kind of like a thing that we need to do, and it's fine. I mean, like, 'cause it's the way of like them saying it and like saying like they're trying to be human with it as far as like presenting like, hey, there's gonna be paid content for this game, but like you're still getting all this other content as well. So like, hopefully you understand. And he actually asks, he's like, hopefully you understand that this will take a while for Piranha Plant to come out, even though it's a pre-order thing and it's limited for free.
Mm-hmm.
Like, like. Eventually, we're gonna have you pay for it, but like we're just trying to give you an incentive. Like they're talking to me like I'm a goddamn human being. I guess you could say.
And they were like saying like, please understand that we can't say exactly who these characters are yet. They probably have an idea of who they are, or they know for sure who they are, but like they're just not in a position to say that yet. And it's like, we understand that you're kind of banking on something, but they even said like, we hope that the roster that you get with the game is like good enough.
Yeah.
Not that it shouldn't be for fucking literally anyone, but even like there's so much that they are nailing outside of that. Like they have a private room thing for Smash Brothers that is like exactly what I wanted it to be. It is like, for your reference, Scott, it reminds me a lot of Endless Fight in Street Fighter 4, which is like my only touchstone for this. But it's like, hey, you have a token that you can kind of move around this little screen. You can say like, I put it down and say like, I'm going to queue up to fight next, and you can queue up with multiple people. You can throw yourself in the ring, and it's like an actual little ring, like a boxing ring that you can throw in. It's like, cool, I want to be in the next fight. Or you can throw yourself in the spectator stands. I want to spectate the next fight. And while you're waiting for an online match, you can play a variety of different modes while you wait. They didn't necessarily say what modes. They said that you couldn't play everything, but you could play some things. They showed like the training mode and like some random match. So it's like, all right, like this is what I wanted from online. Like I didn't, all the fucking ranked and whatever bullshit. Like I'm never going to do that. I'm going to get in a private lobby with my friends, and we're going to queue up and just play rounds of Smash. And they have a really, really nice looking system for that. And that's cool. And they said in that direct, please buy a LAN adapter for this game's online, which I thought was pretty good. But yeah, I'm excited. I think it looks great. I think Smash Ultimate is going to be a good Smash Brothers game for a good long while. I'm excited because I bought the Smash Pass, as I'm again exclusively going to call it, and Ultimate. It's pre-installed and everything. It's like cool. Like I bit the bullet, and now the cool thing is like every couple of months I have a new Smash Brothers character to look forward to. Mm-hmm. I'm not necessarily expecting all the glitz and glamour of like the full character reveal trailer and whatnot. Although it would be really cool if they did end up doing that stuff for DLC, and they might, at least for some of it. But it's like every little bit of time will pass, and I'll be awesome. Like I have another Smash Brothers character waiting for this already incredible game that I can jump into. I think that's cool. Like, I never ended up getting Corinne or Bayonetta for Smash for Wii U because I was just done with it. I was done with the Wii U by the time they came out. And now, like, it's on a platform I like and care about, and et cetera, et cetera. I'm looking at my other news stories I pulled. I didn't put these in the doc, but BlizzCon started yesterday. That sounds right. They announced a whole bunch of new stuff. They announced a new character for Overwatch. Her name is Ashe. I feel like every video game with champions or heroes has to have a character named Ashe. Tony, does Dota 2 have a character named Ashe?
No.
League of Legends does, though.
That's the only game I can think of.
There's 3 games. There's Pokemon, which honestly, it's not the games.
Yeah, it's Animu.
It's the anime. And then there's just League and Overwatch.
Okay.
That's it.
I feel like I just hear that as a video game character name a lot. I don't know. She looks cool. She's like a mid-ranger, which is cool. She's got like a repeater rifle. Very Red Dead themed. She's like a lady cowboy. She got a shotgun. She throws dynamite. And her ultimate is she summons a big robot guy named Bob. And he hangs out and fights. I don't know how that's going to work, but that sounds cool. Warcraft 3 is getting remastered, which is very exciting.
Tony's favorite game of all time.
Tony's favorite game of all time. It's
Yeah,
cool.
I'm pretty hype about it.
Yeah, Warcraft 3 Reforged. Very excited to see what the mods for that look like. Will there be a Dota Reforged? Like,
Oh, you know that's gonna happen.
yeah, for sure. And I'm like, that's cool. Like, I think it'll be a really cool, like, everybody goes back to Warcraft 3 for a little bit. Hopefully for a while then. So, but yeah, I figured that would be a big one for you, Tony. And that's, it's one of the most well-known video games in the world, Warcraft 3 is, and yeah, makes sense. World of Warcraft Classic is coming next summer, which is honestly longer away than I thought it would be. And it will still require a WoW subscription, but people want to play vanilla WoW. Congratulations. I don't know who you are, but
I don't know who you are.
But congrats.
Do you want to play vanilla WoW, Tony?
No.
Yeah.
I don't want to play any WoW ever again.
Oh, you're back there again?
I've been there after the first week.
Because I feel like we're gonna play this like a year from now. It's like, yeah, I gotta play the WoW again.
Nope.
I played vanilla.
No,
WoW.
this was like the like people were like, you'll like it if you play with people, and I was like, oh, I'll probably like it if I play with people. Then I played with people and I hated it. So this is never gonna.
It's not only that; it's all those people that say, "Hey, you'll like it if you play with people," abandoned you.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, like it just doesn't make sense for me to play.
Right, and there's a very similar story with every time I've gone in too.
Yeah.
That's true.
Every time we go in, it's, well, you said you were gonna hop in with me, and now you're just not. Fuck you.
Yeah. Fool me once, right? Is the new Heroes of the Storm character. Her name is Orphea. I don't know anything about her. I don't know anything about Heroes of the Storm, I'll be honest. I think it's a video game, but I'm not quite sure.
I don't
Like, is it?
New Hearthstone expansion. And a new Diablo game.
It's terrible. Let's not talk about it. Move.
Yeah, Diablo Immortal was announced for mobile. And the internet's reaction is about as disappointing as I come to expect at this point.
Because it's one of those things where it's like it's like the thinking ahead type of thing.
Like Blizzard announced, they said they're making Diablo 4. To be clear,
Exactly.
Like they said, like, hey, we're gonna make Diablo 4. We're working on it. It's not ready yet.
But they
Here's
didn't
this other
do.
thing.
But they ended the conference with this, and then it's like you don't even want to mention it for like I mean, obviously there's savvy people, but it's like it's one of those things where it's like we know this is not something you actually want, but we kind of have to give you something that you want at the same time. Like even announce like, hey, we're remastering. Like even announcing like, hey, we're still doing Diablo 4 at the end of the conference or something like that, saying something or like ending it the same way. Because like I watched Easy Allies as they reacted to this, and like the way they felt when Warcraft 3 got announced, the remaster for that, they flipped their shit. They loved that, and it's like. And it's like, yes, this is like everything I want and more. So like that's something that you should kind of end the conference with. So like I don't know why you didn't end it with that, but that's besides the point. But like giving people something that what they want, and they ended it with Diablo, a very PC centric game for PC players with a room full of PC players, and they announced a mobile game of Diablo and don't even mention Diablo 4 or doing a remaster of Diablo 2. So it's like it's not as far as like going up and stage saying like, hey, was this an April Fool's joke or something like that? That was someone actually said to them.
So hilarious. Very
like,
well.
Yeah, I mean, like it's well put, but like at the same time, it's like they need to think just a little bit more of like who are your players? Who are you catering to? And why would you end a conference that way? It's like it's not like it doesn't need to exist. It's more of like how you present something.
Yeah, that's fair. It's kind of like ending a PlayStation conference with Paragon, a game that doesn't exist anymore. Just by the way. Yeah, I get that. I just, obviously the conversation is more dominated by
the toxicity,
the toxicity around it, and yeah, like I'm not stoked about a mobile Diablo game either. But like,
I mean, who is?
Yeah, it's fair, but like I don't think it shouldn't exist.
Exactly.
You're right, Namashin, and it's about how you say it, not about what you say necessarily. They could have thrown this somewhere in the middle, and people would have forgotten about it by the end if they announced, like Warcraft 3 remastered, reforged, at the end. But yeah, fair is fair. Speaking of disappointments, the lineup for the PlayStation Classic is out there now. I know we talked a little bit about it before, but it is. I think it's what we expected when we talked about it last about a month ago. It is what we expected. In that it's disappointing, right? Like you got your Final Fantasy VIIs, you got your Metal Gear Solid, you got your Resident Evil Director's Cut, Rayman, Siphon Filter, and Wild Arms. Like some good hitters, but you've also got like Ballerina Toshiden and Cool Borders 2 and Destruction Derby and Twisted Metal 1, not Twisted Metal 2.
I could not believe that.
The all-around better video game, and Mr. Driller and Oddworld Abe's Odyssey. It's just like, and Jumping Flash. Like, I have nothing against Jumping Flash. I understand people like Jumping Flash. Intelligent Cube. GTA 1, which is also not as good as GTA 2, which would have been a better... Anyway. I don't know. It's cool that, like, Persona 1 is on here. Not that game holds up, necessarily, but it's like...
But, like, Persona 1 over, like, Xenogears or something like that, people who actually played the PlayStation, what they actually talk about type of thing. It's, like, weird choices, man.
Like, I appreciate, like, a Jumping Flash, like, something that might be, like, a deep cut that I don't necessarily get, but somebody probably really, really liked. Like, I think you could like put a Tomba on there, and like that would have, I think, done for me what Jumping Flash maybe does for someone else. But Tomb Raider, Spyro the Dragon, Crash Bandicoot. I understand those games are getting remastered, but like we were talking about the PlayStation Classic, the games that are classics because they were on PlayStation 1. And I just like maybe half of these games are really good, and the half are just like, why is this here? And then all bundled with like, and also this is $100. It's like, boy, that's not worth it.
Yeah, how much was the fucking
$100, $99.99.
No, not that.
the other ones?
So the NES Classic was $60, and that had 30 games on it. And the Super Nintendo Classic was $80, and that had 21 games on it. But like I don't know, the SNES Classic crushed it in my opinion. I think that's a great lineup. So, you know, like I said, we pretty much predicted how this was going to go, and I don't know what 20 games you could put on a PlayStation Classic to make it like perfect. I don't think there are. Like you always have to make cuts in that lineup. I think the PlayStation just has like a wide variety of games in about 4 genres that are actually good still. But you know, it's just they are missing enough iconic PlayStation games, and there's enough like Twisted Metal 1 moments on this list that you know, it's just weird. It's weird. But hey, Resident Evil, Final Fantasy VII, Metal Gear Solid. Well,
how many of those are even Sony exclusives?
Metal Gear Solid 1.
I mean, like Sony made exclusive, Sony published games.
I don't know. I guess like Destruction Derby might be. Twisted Metal is. Ridge Racer is, right?
No, that's Band-Aid Namco.
Really? Shit, I never knew that. Yeah, I don't know.
Like Wild Arms, but you know, like
Is Wild Arms Sony? Really?
I believe so. Yeah.
Shit. Yeah, I guess like Twisted Metal and Wild Arms. Yeah, that is a good like. I guess Sony didn't necessarily have many development studios, right? At that point,
they were all RPGs, I think, at the time.
Yeah, but they just had like really strong partnerships. Like, I don't know who published Crash Bandicoot.
I think it was Universal.
Oh shit, that's right. Oh man. Yes. They don't make video games anymore. Yeah, so you know, I don't know how you get the publishing rights for that.
Well, even if
Activision.
Crash Bandicoot, the remastered version of Crash Bandicoot came out so recently.
Yeah, and I that's probably
it would be one of those games where, sorry, that's one of the games where it makes sense that it's not on there.
Yeah, same with Spyro, I guess. But like Tomb Raider, the original Tomb Raider, like why is that not on there?
I guess that was because that was also for Dreamcast.
Maybe, but like I would. Maybe like Square owns Tomb Raider now too. Maybe it's like, hey, you get one. It's got to be Final Fantasy VII, or like they just didn't want to pay more than whatever they had to pay for 7. But even still, yeah, I don't know. I like it, licensing and publishing rights and whatnot. Like I'm sure there were plenty of logistical issues with this, and Sony first party proper didn't have a lot to bring to the table back then. They just had their partnerships, but yeah. It is not worth $100 in my opinion. I think maybe they could have. I don't think it's worth $80, but maybe they could have gotten there with a few switches up of the lineup, but they didn't.
Yep.
Red Dead Redemption sold really well. I mean, surprising no one. What has been really cool has been Matt Piscatella, who's the dude, the NPD guy, so to speak. He's the guy I'm always pulling quotes from when we do NPD numbers. Has been in response to like all this stuff about Red Dead doing well. He's been putting out some really cool. Hey, here are the best-selling year to like lifetime to date games for the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, just in general, which have been really cool. He's been tweeting them out, just like throwing these numbers down on Twitter. If folks don't follow him, like people that actually use Twitter, not my fucking co-host. Matt.
Fuck Twitter.
Yeah, now I can put you on blast too, Notion.
Straight up, fuck Twitter.
That's fair. It's a cesspool. It's a nightmare. At Matt Piscatella, all one word, one T in Matt. Piscatella. He's a very interesting fellow to follow as for someone who likes NPD stuff. I do. So, the PlayStation 4 list was interesting to see. Again, lifetime to date, as through September of 2018, GTA 5 being number one, and then 3 Call of Duty games in a row, World War II, then Black Ops 3, then Call of Duty Infinite Warfare, then NBA 2K18, then Battlefield 1, which is interesting to see on the list. I've read this list many times, but then God of War from 2018, Star Wars Battlefront from 2015, then Call of Duty Advanced Warfare, then NBA 2K17. And then when you flip over to the Xbox One best-selling games, GTA 5, Call of Duty World War II, Black Ops 3, Infinite Warfare. So again, the exact same top 4. Then Battlefield 1, then Star Wars Battlefront 2015. So just kind of skipping the exclusives, but also NBA, which is interesting to see how much better NBA sells on PlayStation. Then
and also how good God of War did. Jesus.
Also,
Christ.
yeah, God of War did very well. Then Call of Duty Advanced Warfare. So again, Advanced Warfare was the second to last game on the Sony list, and it is the 7th game on the Microsoft list. So 7 versus 9. Then Halo 5 Guardians. Then Destiny 2, which I suppose sold better on Xbox One, which is crazy.
Or it just shows the discrepancy of the third party.
Discrepancy of sales.
I would just assume because like that's the leading marketing.
The marketing platform is PlayStation, yeah. So and then Fallout 4. And to be clear, Bethesda does not release their digital sales, so Fallout 4 sold very well physically on Xbox One. And then just today, he put out the best-selling Vita games life to date, which I thought, yes, which was a really great list. I thought it was interesting. So again, lifetime to date, only one game on this list doesn't include digital sales. But number one is Uncharted Golden Abyss, which I wonder if this includes like PlayStation Plus figures, since I was like free for I feel like forever. And then Call of Duty Black Ops Declassified, then Assassin's Creed 3 Liberation, then Mortal Kombat 2011, which is crazy. Then Little Big Planet. Number 6 is Need for Speed Most Wanted 2012. Number 7 is Killzone Mercenary. Number 8, Persona 4 Golden. Number 9, Marvel vs. Capcom 3. Also crazy. And number 10, Unit 13. Also crazy. But the one game on that list, not sharing digital sales, Persona 4 Golden. So I would expect that actually sold a lot better than I would say probably sold better than Killzone and Need for Speed. Maybe not more than Little Big Planet, but who knows? But that's cool to see that in that top 10. And the Vita had a surprisingly high attach rate of like software to unit, like console. So who knows how all those numbers shake out? But I'm a big fan of the numbers, so I wanted to share.
I like numbers too, dude.
Hell yeah, dude. Numbers are great. I like it when they go up.
Yeah. It's only when they go up. I hate it with any other direction.
Unless it's like health that the enemy has. I like that when that goes down. Let's take a peek in the mail sack, though. I got the music going. Let's do it. No voicemails or anything today, this week. But our good friend Silver PR did come through in the clutch 6 minutes ago, tweeting in some questions. So.
Hell yeah!
Thank you, Silver PR. So let's get into it. Thanks everyone for tweeting your questions at us. We just have Twitter questions this week. You can tweet them at IrrationalPod. Use the hashtag IPQ, and we'll read them on the show and have a good time answering them. I will say, like, our mail section, having edited the last 20 feeling podcasts in a row very recently, I do like that our mail section has gotten a little chunkier and that we spend a little bit more time on each question. It's fun. Thank you, everyone that always sends in questions. Again, throughout all of the history of the podcast, whether it's been emails, voicemails, or whatever. Shout out to Mr. Nepp, who used to be our number one fan, but's dead to me now. But yeah, thank you, everyone. First question comes from Dave Martinson at Martin Swagger. He says, expectations for Halo Infinite? None.
I
don't know.
Not the biggest Halo boys around here.
Yeah. I'll say that, like, they had that reveal and the kind of engine trailer at E3, which was very, very much not a whole lot. But I get the vibe that maybe they're going for something open worldy, maybe they're going for something RPG-y, with RPG mechanics. It's the idea of that trailer made me think that it will be a lot more open. And obviously they're getting away from the numbers and whatnot, which people have been speculating that they would for a while. So I don't know. I expect it to be something different. And I'm hopeful that it is maybe a little bit more, like, honestly, like with Halo 5, like I played all the Halo games relatively close to one another. It is very much more the same. Like Halo is those like missions. Like it is a first-person shooter where the campaign is just a series of missions, and I think video games just aren't that anymore in a weird way. Like especially this year has got me thinking they're just more open. There's more flexing. I think it'd be cool to take the Halo universe and do like an open game where you can kind of explore around and whatnot. Option, do you have any expectations for Halo Infinite?
I don't know, honestly. Like, because I'm thinking about like where Halo was and what it used to be compared to what it is now, which is still a very successful series. But like when like Halo 1, 2, and 3, up to like I would say up to Reach, even Halo Reach, I mean, that like it was like something that like it was like the most anticipated thing ever, and it was a game series that like there was like nothing like it, and like it pushed the boundaries, and it's like is what other people look for and compare to, as far as like video games, and like it's just not much of that anymore for multiple reasons. It's like the way the multiplayer is now, where it used to be, it seemed like it was the leader for multiplayer. Now it seems like it's trying to like be a Me Too for multiplayer.
Yeah.
Like I don't know, like because like if there's one thing I remember people saying something about Halo, it's like, oh, it has the best matchmaking ever type of thing. So like I don't know, like for what Infinite can even possibly be, like when you say something like Infinite, like I don't think story really plays into that. That's why I think the numbers do, and like I wonder how they'll carry on this story, as far as like is like because like when I think of Infinite, I think like story's gonna take a back seat now, and now they're gonna focus on the multiplayer and what that game could possibly be as far as like that, and try to get their bread and butter as far as that back. But I don't know, like as far as the story, how that game will play out anymore.
Yeah, it's a good point. Tony, I know you've had your trysts with Halo here and there. Do you have any expectations for Infinite?
I honestly, no, I don't know.
Okay. It's weird. Yeah, like that's a really good point. Now, of like they used to be leaders in multiplayer, and now they're not. You know, now it is like Call of Duty and Destiny and Battlefield. Like they are the status quo. But yeah, I like there. I think there's so much potential in a wider, broader Halo game, right? But like it also. Is Halo in a space where, like, if it's still a game about a Master Chief fighting the Covenant, like, can it still be, like, new and fresh, you know? Because it just hasn't been. But 343 is so talented. I know the people there have so many ideas. Like I just feel like they gotta send off Master Chief. They gotta say goodbye to that character, and they gotta let themselves do something completely new. That's my hope.
But like, is taking off the helmet of Master Chief the thing they need to do? I mean, I'm just saying that as an example.
Yeah,
but like,
yeah,
is something to shake it up that much?
I think
is
like
that the answer?
That's not the answer, but I think part of that is hopefully being able to spend a really long, intimate time with that character, and then at the end of that story, not expect him to be the central figure of the next Halo game, and being okay with that, which is a big deal, I think, for people who love Halo.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they can do it. I genuinely do. It's just like Halo Infinite is probably coming out like 2020 at the earliest, right? And does that game have like a battle royale mode? Like, what is that even? What is?
I mean, that was the big theory, and like, it was like I said, that's like a copycat thing, not like a leader thing.
Yeah, like
So,
what?
like,
It's there's a lot of questions. To be fair, like I'm optimistic about that. Like I
am too. I think Halo Infinite is gonna be an excellent game, and like I feel it will show off. It's because like it not only because it has to be for Xbox, but like it should be. Honestly,
my hope is that Halo Infinite comes out right at a moment where Microsoft is either starting to release or announcing or whatever a lot of new first-party exclusives that are all very exciting. And like we get to see Halo Infinite, and that's kind of the thing that kickstarts that. And it leads into Microsoft just having a banger series of years back to back to back of like really, really cool, interesting first-party titles.
so do you think it could be their God of War? As far as like, or does it need to be a God of War? As far as like, it changes so much from what it used to be.
I hope it is something beyond comparison. That's
Cool.
my hope.
Yeah.
Because it's easy to say that. I want it to be its own thing that maybe like in the industry space is comparable to God of War and how that rebooted that franchise, but it's totally its own thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good question. We don't talk about Halo on the show. It's a good conversation to have every now and again. Trevor Starkey, friend of the show, will be here next week. Very excited. At Snarky Starkey says, what will be the biggest story in gaming when IPP episode 500 rolls around? 2 years from now, what will be the biggest story in gaming?
2 years?
2 years from now. I want to say it's new consoles.
Can we get a date?
IPP 500, in theory, is exactly 2 years from now. So November of 2020.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I want to say it's new hardware. I want to say that's when it happens, like fall 20. Like, in theory, if we go off the Xbox One and PS4, which both released in November of 2013, which was 5 years ago, which is crazy to think. I want to say, yeah, it's like we're in the month that new hardware is coming out, and it's buck wild. We're all excited. I guess like that's not necessarily what Trevor was digging at. I think he wants to know like industry or culturally in the industry wise is going to be the biggest story. Halo Infinite. I don't know. Do you have anything, Namashin?
Like, the only thing I could predict for something that far away is like I think that'll be the year where Microsoft's exclusive games will be like that'd be like a whole entire year of like Microsoft exclusive games, and we'll just say like how great that that company's doing now.
Mm-hmm.
I think it takes time, and I think it takes a lot of polish to get to that point, and a lot of support as well. And like I think they got the support now. They just need the time to actually get it out there for everyone.
Yeah. Scott, Tony, you guys have any ideas?
Scott?
Not really.
Yeah, it's hard to say. So I guess like the biggest story in gaming this year is crunch, right, and overtime and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
and that's not like it's a new thing, but this is the year that we started really talking about it, right? So it's hard. I feel like it's hard to predict that kind of thing. And like, what was it last year?
Last year?
Yeah. What was the hottest mess last year?
I'll look it up real fast.
I know it's something. But like last year on this show, it was Microsoft. Right? I guess that's also been... That was like mid last year to mid this year. It was like, why does Microsoft not have these games on their console? Like, that's what we talked about a lot. And then the year before that was like Nintendo. What are they doing? And then...
I think the biggest thing the year before was like the treatment of game developers, wasn't it?
Yeah. There's like the voice actor strike stuff too.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I don't know, we've hit some big. This generation has been big for the developer side of things and like getting their stories out there more, and that's been really cool. If we are entering a new generation of hardware come 2 years from now, I imagine we could be looking at whole new conversations. We could be looking at an industry that's starting to unionize, things like that. I'll take a guess. I'll say like unionization is starting to happen in video games. I think that'll be the biggest story in 2 years. It's honestly, it's pretty optimistic, but
You heard it here first, folks. Irrational Passions podcast,
Loot
episode
boxes.
500. We're going to talk about unioning.
yeah,
Loot boxes.
loot boxes was last year. Yeah,
Yeah, that was the thing.
it's weird
That
because
was
we have
Battlefront.
hard turned on loot boxes this year. So
I wouldn't say so.
I feel like I see a lot less, at least. Cameron Abbott.
Oh, that's what you meant. I thought you were talking about opinions. And I was
No.
like,
No, the opinion is still generally the same. Two big thumbs down for loot boxes. Except for Tony, who just loves them.
I love those things, dude. God, I love having terrible RNG right in my butthole.
Hell yeah, dude. Cameron Abbott at Unsexiest Comedy. His question is, you can choose one of the following: the charm of Greg Miller, the knowledge of Jeff Gerstmann, the sincerity of Brandon Jones. Which do you choose?
Jeff Gerstmann.
I figured that would be. I would probably be Greg Miller.
yeah, if I had the charm of Greg Miller, I'd lose my charm.
Yeah, exactly. You can't get
And
that
it's
up.
like, I can't get it's not good,
but
but
you.
it is entertaining.
But it is you, Scott. We love you. What about you, Option?
Brandon Jones sincerity.
Yeah, that's what I figured. That's how I thought it would roll out.
I'm going with Jeff Gerstmann.
That makes sense. Makes sense. I gotta pick my boy. I gotta rep the team. Honestly, all three though, for sure. Spoil yourselves, everyone. Be sincere, be charming, and be knowledgeable. No reason why you can't have all three. Scott White at Solid Snake 120. What has been your most memorable episode, your personal favorite episode, and the episode that makes you cringe the most to think about out of the past 400? I feel like we touched on all of these in the beginning of the show.
We did.
Especially the cringe.
We can quickly go over it.
Yeah, most memorable episode. I guess the most memorable episode would probably be like last year's Extra Life episode. It's one for the books, you know.
That's true.
Personal favorite might be we had like a lot, but the episode 100 where we all got together for the first time. And then the cringe episode is the Scott Evan episode, the mythical.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But we need an answer from Navish and Tony.
What?
Because you had to edit it. So that's fine for you. These two fuckers.
Yeah.
They haven't lived it. They gotta pick something else.
Yeah, you got. What is your most cringe episode, Nabishan?
I said it before, but like any episode at the beginning when I started where I just kind of attacked any other time just to kind of be funny. This is like this to ridicule you everything you said, and I hated that. I hated that about myself.
I don't even remember this. Man,
Must have been why Alex originally
I
didn't
remember
want to
a
have
few
Nate
of
Novich
them.
in a full. He's like, I don't know, man. This guy just makes fun of me all the time.
Maybe. I
Yeah,
probably deserved it though.
They're pretty good bits.
Yeah, they're good, but I don't know.
Tony, what about you? What's your most cringe episode?
Every episode of this podcast is a fucking gem. There are no cringe episodes.
Damn right. That's what I like to hear. I don't know, that one where you brought me Chinese food was pretty good.
That was a pretty good episode. That was before I was host. That was like
Yeah,
my
it was
when I was a
pre-host.
guest. Oh yeah, I was on there talking about my fucking game log.
Hell yeah, it's fucking shout out to the game log. Pour one
Hell
out
yeah.
for everyone that contributed or made a game log. Man,
See, I was expecting one of those episodes where Alex and I fought for a very stupid reason.
yeah.
And it's not like an intense fight.
No. And
No.
like
It
Lord
doesn't
knows
go there either.
we didn't take it personally, like in any by any stretch of the imagination, but you know, gotta argue sometimes. Yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of good ones. I'll say like now that we're at the 400 mark, I can proudly say we've probably had more good ones than bad ones. It's close. It's close. Justin Zor-L is his Twitter name, but Justin Graffius, we all know. At the Sigma Omega. All right, boys. First, congrats on 400. Thank you, Justin. But now, this is where it gets harder. Now that you're this far, what's next? IP the movie? The Adventures of IP the video game? IP fan fiction novel? These are the answers the fans want to know. Definitely gotta have a fan fiction novel.
I mean, isn't that basically Alex on the other video game?
Yeah, the
Well,
That
it's
old stupid bit.
that's a good bit.
Alex Vanilla MMORPG. The one where the entire goal for everybody on the server is to keep Alex alive somehow.
Yeah. You have to try and succeed and fail over and over again to get me out of bed. I remember there was an aspect to it where like if you fucked up early on, I would fall out the window and die.
You know,
Like-
back when I was in high
Absolutely.
school,
If you close the wrong drawer, what is it? What was his name? Started with an L.
Luis Guzman.
The cat. No, the cat that
Lorcan.
pooped on
Lorcan.
your face.
Lorcan.
Lorcan.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah,
Leave
yeah.
the wrong drawer open. Lorcan poops on your face.
Yeah, and I
Die.
die. Yeah.
there was a time in high school where I actually started that game.
I
I
know.
started making it, and then I was like, never mind.
Program it all in Alice.
It would have been Java.
I know. It would have been hilarious if it was in Alice though.
No, the hardest part about that would be to get the networking right.
Oh yeah. Get everybody on the same server, you know.
Yep.
I like the idea of an MMORPG where no one ever interacts with anyone else and everyone plays the same character. It's very much like that like a horrible like neo-utopian society where everyone lives the exact same life and they're all just like live in the same looking houses, everyone looks the same, etc., etc. But everyone's just struggling to get out of bed. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. What's next? The next bit that we do? Probably not IP the movie. Probably not the Adventures of IP. Maybe a fan fiction novel. I'll keep it all
that
on
would
the
be the
table.
great part about the game. It's not that you can't interact with each other. It is that everybody's in the same house playing as the same character. It's that you can't get out the fucking door.
You just can't get out the
without
room.
dying. But you can. But you don't.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you, Justin, for your congrats. I appreciate it. All right. At Silver PR, our true #1 fan and good friend, Silver PR, JC Ramirez in New York City. Silver NY, if I may. He's got a 4-parter here. Just wanted to send your way my love and congrats on 400 episodes of IP Pod. Would have sent a V-mail, but life as we know it has been hard for me the past 13 months. Wasn't in the mindset for it. Do not worry about it, Silver PR. We'll do a later episode. Now for a question. If you establish an Irrational Passions Podcast Hall of Fame, what would you induct into it? Can be anything. A video game that impacted many discussions on the show, a segment that was memorable of its own on its own, a host that implanted into the Irrational Passions Podcast DNA, a voicemail or letter from days past. My choice, I would induct Cora Talk into the IP Pod Hall of Fame. I mean, I made it fun, didn't I? That one time I said I would cut a bitch with Lacrimosa in the background. That's right, I forgot about the whole music part of that. Or that one time I said, it is not your fault. It's not your fault. You suck at Battlefield. And who can't forget that milestone episode when you're all just randomly babbling, Rob? Oh, good times. In any case, have a fun one. Have a happy Saturday. And a very special happy 400th. Silver PR. Out. Thank you, Silver PR, so much. The Irrational Passions Hall of Fame. I mean, the Alex MMORPG is a good bit. I would induct that bit.
I'd say he's right about Core Talk.
Core Talk, yeah, for sure. That was so much fun. Like, it was such a different thing that we did. And it made, like, it was like a post-titles thing. It's the only, like, post show bit or segment we've ever done. I thought about asking if we wanted to do, like, a My Hero Academia talk every week. But I'm not on the same viewing cycle as you guys, so it wouldn't work. But I think that could be fun. League of Legends would definitely be a game that is inducted. Now, especially now that it's come full circle. I think up until Tony started playing it again, it wouldn't have, but here we are again. Undertale, I would induct. I think that
the year that what was it? Whatever game you wanted to win didn't win.
Every year.
No. It was like the one where it was like, it was of particular note.
Was it when we named Skyward Sword the worst video game of all time?
I don't think that's what I'm thinking of, but that's also really fucking good.
And then gave it first runner-up for Game of the Year, like a bunch of fucks.
Yeah.
That's good. Yeah, there's a bunch of those.
Yeah, man.
Honestly, I'd say if it was a Game of the Year episode proper.
Yeah.
Hey man, I don't think I've ever won a Game of the Year either.
Yeah.
Maybe
which is a really good way to put it, by the way.
Yeah. Man. I'm trying to think, like, I feel like we still, to some degree, talk about most of our games of the year. Like, we don't really talk about Skyrim that much. Not that the video games industry isn't trying to make us talk about it constantly, because it's still coming out on everything. We don't talk about Overwatch that much. But, like, obviously, like, there are hitters in it. Like, Mass Effect 2, obviously, is a game that Nobish and you at least revisit every couple of years, so, or will continue to, so. And Undertale is maybe the only game that all four of us have liked. So, yeah, I can't even think of any other ones at the moment. We never talk about Link Between Worlds, but
no. But I mean, at the same time, it's Zelda game of some sort comes out every year.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Or at least every frequently.
Frequently enough.
Yeah.
We kind of still bring up Shovel Knight.
Yeah, true. Shovel Knight, I think, is a game that most of us like. Yeah, I don't know. I think there, as far as games that have like impacted our discussions on the show, League is one, Undertale is one, like big ones. Destiny is one. Destiny for sure. So I would put those in.
Kingdom Hearts.
And Kingdom Hearts, yeah. You're right. Sorry, Scott. Cannot forget. How could we, Tony? But yeah, I don't know. There's so many good bits. Like, some bits that were just that episode, like Scott's theme song, right? Which is such a dumb thing, but I still think it's hilarious. Or I mean, I can't. Obviously, I'm blanking right now, but stuff like that. Danny, have you guys have any shoutouts? Nabashin?
No. I can't really think of anything right now.
Yeah, fair enough. We talked about it a lot throughout the episode, so. But thank you, Silver PR. I would induct Silver PR into the Irrational Passions Podcast Hall of Fame because he's become, I would say, an essential part of this podcast history. So much so that we have a 5-minute segment almost every week dedicated to him and his voicemails. And, the personality that he's brought to the show and whatnot. Just like, when Mr. Nepp would send...
Yeah, I would say Mr. Nepp also deserves a slot.
Yeah, when Mr. Nepp would send his kind of like weekly voicemails and we would play them. When Fluffy Nuts would still send us voicemails.
God, they're so good.
Perfect. They're still perfect. I still have some of them.
Hey, you guys want to start an initiative for 2019?
What, get Fluffy Nuts on the podcast?
No, it's way better than that.
Yeah, what is it?
Bring back the game log.
Bring back the game log.
2019.
No, let's retire the game log.
I would do it.
I don't remember what the game log is.
It's where you manually write down all of the hours that you put into video games and then calculate them
Oh,
out.
that's right. That's because I never did it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I started it, and then Tony was like, I'll do it. And we did it. And then, it was fun having some people, like, I put it on Twitter, and I was like, hey, does anyone want to do this with me? And some people did it for a little bit. So usually, like, a couple months. It's funny, because up until beyond when Mupp X ended, after that, Mr. Nepp still manually wrote down an anime log of all the anime he watched.
Hey, man, actually, it's hard to keep track. And sometimes you just want to...
But, like, it was one of those things that he did it by hand. Like, he could have just gone through his Crunchyroll queue and he'd probably be fine. Although he had a tendency to buy a lot of stuff.
You don't know his life. Maybe he shares a Crunchyroll account with, like, 30 people, like every other human.
It's true. That's very true. All right, let me fucking... I'm going to pull up... Yeah. You could share it with me, though. I'm going to pull up Mr. Nepp's anime log from 2013. Let's see. What has he got here? I'm going to go to... Oh, my God. Oh, this is way better than I thought of. He has, at the top of this anime log, a little introduction, like a little rule listing, and an explanation of how the log works. I don't know who he was sharing this with, so... Somebody must have been looking at this, but he has an explanation of different, like, terminology. Oh my God, this is good. Like, here's a terminology log here in Nepp's anime log from 2013, which is what it's named. Nano Fate. Do you know what this means, Tony?
No.
Pairing of words for Nanoha and Fate. They're characters from the anime Nanoha. They've been the main characters of the show for each season. The official stuff has been heavily implying this pairing, but the fandom pretty much canonized the official stuff. The fandom pretty much canonized the pairing. Oh, he uses a word I don't want to say here after that.
Oh. What's the word?
It's the hard F word, and I do not want to say that. I'm not trying to put Mr. Nepp on blast here, but I'm not going to say that. I'm going to just go to a date. Boy, he did the whole year, huh? Oh my God, it's 77 pages of this. Let's see. What did Mr. Nepp watch on Christmas Day in 2013? He watched a surprising amount of anime. Hidamari Sketch Volume 7, manga paperback, new. And then Elfenlade, anime Blu-ray, episodes 1 through 14. He watched all 14 episodes of that on December. You've watched Elfenlade, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Huh. There you go. Mr. Knapp, a fucking gem of a human. Maybe he uses words I don't like, but I still love him to death.
It's 2013, dude. Come on.
It's a different era. You're right. We shouldn't use that as an excuse now. We should hold each other to a higher standard, but you're right.
All right, I'll go back into your Twitter history, find out one thing you said about Street Fighter.
Sorry, man. I deleted a lot of tweets the other day. I'll let you know. George the Cop, as we called him for a little while, George the Cop Cruz Alvarez went through and started searching all of the IP staff's old tweets for certain words that were maybe more or less appropriate, and started putting all of us on blast in our Irrational Passion Slack, and I deleted a lot of tweets that day. So, fair.
Oh, God bless George.
God bless George.
Yeah. Oh, you follow a porn star. Oh, let me put you on blast about that.
Yeah, dude.
Like, what the fuck, dude?
Fuck, George.
How much blast was I on?
Probably none, Scott. I think you've tweeted 4 times.
Hells yeah.
And they're all terrible.
They're all really offensive, actually.
Yeah. All about fuck Twitter.
Yeah, all about fuck Twitter. It's the new
Actually,
hashtag.
so now it's wrong.
Thank you everyone for writing in. As always, I appreciate all of you a great deal. You're all lovely, wonderful people. Thank you for being a part of our show and a part of our history, and thank you for continuing to do so. We've reached the end of the show. I'd like to remind you a couple ways that you can be a part of that show. Just like I mentioned, you can email us, mailsack@irrationalpassions.com. Leave us a voicemail at 404-590-1337. Or tweet us at IrrationalPod with the hashtag IPQ. You can follow the show and the site on Twitter at IrrationalPod and on Instagram at IrrationalPassions. Other stuff to think about that we would like. We don't go over this a lot, but if you rate and review us on iTunes, it actually helps us out a lot. If you have not ever done it and you're listening or watching, hey, go do that. Go write a quick review. Go rate us. It's been a while since we pimped that, but I would really appreciate it. And it would help the show a great deal. But we're also available on Stitcher and Google Play and Spotify. Rate and review us wherever you prefer to listen to the show. Check out our other shows like Input and Get Acquainted and Podcast Ultimate and Video Game Book Club. They're all great shows that are all on IrrationalPassions.com. And there's more on IrrationalPassions.com, like reviews, articles, opinion pieces, and whatnot. And if you got nothing to do next Saturday, why not tune into what's twitch.tv/OKBeast now for the real fun extra life stream that'll be happening next weekend. No, go twitch.tv/IrrationalPassions or IrrationalPassions.com/extra-life. We'll be streaming for 24 hours. We're starting at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So daylight saving ends tomorrow. As a heads up, I think we get an hour back. No, we're going to lose an hour tonight. Fair warning. Damn. I always forget, which one is it? We're losing the hour. We've reached the end of the show, fellas. The end of episode 400. We had to get there eventually. But now, it's time for bets. I'll say, as far as copying segments, pretty much 1-to-1 from other podcasts, I am a big fan of bets.
I like bets.
I like bets a lot. I think it's just fun and silly and dumb. This week's bet. What will the final track listing for Tetris Effect be? Currently, there's no released OST for Tetris Effect. Well, I'm talking about credits roll. What's the final track listing? I'll pull up a point of comparison just to give everyone a baseline to work off, because honestly, I have no idea. I know the demo has 3 distinct songs in it, just for full disclosure. That's all I've seen of the game. But let's go. What was Mizuguchi's last game? Was it Res Infinite?
Res Infinite, yes. I would probably do Luminous.
Yeah, that's a better point of comparison.
Probably the Vita Luminous game.
What about Luminous Remastered? That's what I was going to use.
Yeah, that probably worked too.
just to see like a number of tracks. There are 43 tracks in Luminous Remastered, which is pretty good. And shout out to their very clean website that just has that listed. I really appreciate it. One of the songs in Luminous Remastered is Whoop-de-Doo, which is pretty good. One is also called Chinese Restaurant. I want to know what that sounds like. So yeah, 43 from another similar like-minded game, just for point of comparison. I'm going to write mine. And when you're ready, send them up in that chat. Thanks everybody in the live chat saying happy 400th episode. Appreciate you all. Namashin, could you read the numbers to me so I don't mess up the video on the stream?
I just have my 60 up. I don't know what Tony is gonna have.
You guys
70.
Ooh. So Tony said 70. Scott, what'd you say?
I said 50.
It's got to actually say 50 though, or is he gaming the system?
Namashin, you said 60.
Yeah.
Mine is 51. I feel bad. I fucking
Oh.
priced this right at you,
Ooh,
Scott.
you always do, Alex.
I don't mean it. It's not like I see everyone else's. I was worried that I was gonna go.
I mean, I could have prices righted you the other way.
It's true. Technically, by Price is Right rules, you fucked me, Scott. But luckily, we don't do that. I was worried that I was going too high. All right, so 51 from me, 50 from Scott, 70 from Tony, 60 from Namashin.
Mm-hmm.
Good bets. Last week's bet. Do you remember this one, Namashin? I didn't know that there was a new version of Dream Daddy coming out.
Mm-hmm.
Which is cool. What will the trophy percentage be of Bad Dad be? Which I believe was Sleep with Robert on the First Date, which is pretty funny. I bet 32%, Scott bet 12%, Tony bet 17%. Wow. The actual percentage is 43%. That's way higher than I thought it would be.
That's really high. People really like fucking dudes on the first.
Specifically Robert. Do you know who Robert is?
Yeah,
Namashin?
yeah. Oh, no.
Well, I assume you know, Tony, of course.
I can't remember.
Of course. What do you?
Just kidding. Which means I won. Yay. I haven't won in a while. It's been just Scott fucking cleaning up for the longest time.
It's not.
Oh, that guy.
Now I gotta look up a picture of Robert from Dream Daddy. If he's that guy. Is he
He
hot?
wasn't the guy. Yeah, they're all hot. It's just like who's the guy that I liked a lot? There was one guy.
Is it the vampire guy? Oh yeah. He's a bad boy. Yes, he is.
Dude, you just want to eat him up.
I do. Just want to chew on his little snack.
Dude, that guy is looking like a fucking chug jug.
Yeah, dude.
Dude, that's the new thing that the kids are saying.
Is that the new name for your fucking betting team? Do I have to update this real quick?
Team Chug Jug.
Yeah, Team Chug
I'm
Jug.
about it.
Do we have the Scott approval for Team Chug Jug?
I don't know what it is, but okay.
It's the full heal item in Fortnite. It's like a giant orange jug of fucking colored liquid. So when
Nice.
people are looking good, you say, "Man, you're looking like a chug jug."
You're looking like a 10-piece snack.
Yeah.
Craig was my guy.
Craig. All right, let me see what Craig. Oh, I see what kind of flavor you're after now, Bashin.
Is Craig the Asian daddy?
Yes.
I'm about it. Yeah.
Asian sensation. I like his little baby carrier, though.
Mm-hmm.
That's cute. Which brings Team Nanashi up to 45 points. And Team Chug Jug, say that 5 times fast, is still taking the lead at 46 points. But I'm just saying, we're closing the gap. I'm glad I have my teammate back, Dabashin. We got the Game Awards. There's still time. We got one betting special left in us. I don't know if we're going to be able to think of extra life bets, but if we can, we'll squeeze those in too. All right. That's it. That's the show. We reached it to the end with only one dumb segment left to go. Let us throw it out. Thanks, everyone, for listening. I appreciate all of you very much. Thanks, everyone, for watching, tuning in live. If you got the chance to, I also appreciate you very much. Honestly, you know, in a lot of ways, this show started as, in a selfish world, a way for me to build a resume and live a dream that I still have, and even though it's changed a lot, but it's turned into something totally different where I get to hang out with 3 really cool guys and talk about video games and make fun of the news and list top 10 selling games and answer dumb questions. And it's become like a really important part of my life and my week, and an important part of who I am. And I'm really just thankful that anyone has taken the time to listen to this. I never thought we would ever have anyone listen to this show, and to be honest, it never really mattered. But here we are, and I'm really happy with it. So thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you, Scott. Thank you, Tony. Thank you, Nabashin, for joining me as always. Thank you, Joe. Thank you, Evan. Thank you, Greg. And thank you, Chris, for joining me sometimes. You're all amazing, and I love you all. Winky face. And thank you to Danny Wiesner
For sure.
2-player co-op and The World is Saved, the best opening and closing music in the biz, as far as I'm concerned. I don't typically do this because I'm selfish and I like to open and close the show, but do you guys have any words you want to say? You don't have to. I'm putting you on the spot a little bit. But no, it's fine. It's a podcast, I guess.
I'm a little surprised we didn't do some extra life talk, but I mean,
we mentioned it. I mentioned it at the beginning and the end. Extra life will speak for itself, I promise.
Yeah, it will.
Tony.
Good luck at Extra Life, bros.
Chug jug. You look like a just big old chug jug.
No, dude, it's specific. You looking like a chug jug.
I don't know how I feel about that. That's it. Thanks, everybody. I've been your host, Alex O'Neill. Play your games, stay rational. We'll talk to you all next week.
Titles? Do I have your consent to watch a man eat salmon? That's not video games. That's a bad decision.
That's a good one.
A harem of dudes.
5 dudes.
Bring back the game log. And chug jug.
Man, I mean, I guess it's a harem of 5 dudes, right? Like, it's
if it was 5 dudes here, then I'd be like, yes, but like it's only 4, so no.
Yeah.
It is true. And whose harem would we be? I don't know.
Mine? Hello?
I guess. But then it's just a harem of 3 dudes. And we're all just grabbing
Yeah,
it.
you see, that's why this can't be the title. I'm down for it. That's not video games. That's a bad decision.
That's very apt. I think that actually is that could be the subtitle of the podcast permanently. Irrational Passions, : that's not video games. That's a bad decision. What do you think?
Right.
What do you think, Tony?
I like all of them.
Me too.
I vote for all 5 equal.
Well, I mean, I won't accept that, but
You're gonna have.
I'd like to make a public apology, Nabashin. I'm sorry for my titles. and everything that they stood for. Namely me. I was thinking like I wanted to do something fun where like we all said it at the same time, but I feel like that's not video games. That's a bad decision. Is not going to work.
Chug. No.
No. Too dirty. But we could all say the episode number at the same time. I think that could work.
Which one do we pick?
That's not video games. That's a bad decision.
All right.
Who wants to be the one that says the title? I guess it's you by default, not machine. You're right.
Sure.
You just took it. But you guys cool with saying it all at the same time? I think that'd be cute.
I think it's kind of lame.
I mean, so is this podcast. So
No. This podcast is professional and great.
This podcast is nothing but professionalism. All right, fine, Tony. If you want to ruin my fun, I'll lead you in. No, machine.
Okay.
You're listening to Irrational Passions podcast episode 400.
That's not video games. That's a bad decision.
That's a wrap. Thanks everybody for watching. We will catch y'all next week for some dumb fun. Bye.
Bye.